Welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. We are a Dungeons and Dragons RPG channel. This lot are getting drunk, or at least Andrew's.
I'm not.
This is wine.
Just pouring it straight into the can. Look at that classic.
I
left my glass downstairs. I ain't got no time for that.
I just, you know. Anyway, welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. This is our.
Oh, we're actually live.
Yeah, we're actually like. Do you think I was just talking?
Yes.
Yes, actually.
You've done that like 3 times so far.
This is why I have the screen here,
That's
so
the
I know
reason
when
why one of the sessions the session started by me saying the word penis.
And there's another one.
2 sessions ago.
There we go.
Welcome to the channel. God save your souls. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons 5th tonight. It is the Icewind Dale Rime the Frostmaiden campaign, dungeon mastered by Roberto of the Short Rest Tavern. You will see a lovely thing at the break, a bit of a up-and-coming advert for the premiere, which I'll let Rob give a bit of a spiel on as an announcement before we start. But basically, welcome to the channel. We play D&D, we play Pathfinder, we play Carbon, we play quite a lot of games when we get a chance to. If you haven't seen us already, welcome, stick around. We're going to roll dice, take piss out of each other. Some dragons, maybe seen some dungeons, maybe seen none of the above.
Maybe dragons in dungeons.
Ooh, we are sponsored.
Maybe dungeons in dragons. Who knows? Can get weird.
It could get weird. We are sponsored by Loke Battle Mats, who are an incredible map making artiste, who I believe streams on a Monday evening. So if you're catch them on the YouTube and stuff, they stream all their stuff they do. They did a Towns and Taverns, which was really successful Kickstarter. They did a Wilderness Kickstarter, which is just done, which was massively successful. And basically, it's a big book of battle maps that you just flip out on the table. Boom! You've got any scenery that you so wish. You can get them digitally on a drive-through RPG. Some are free, some are pay what you want, and some are a set price, I think. I use them for like Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or any other virtual tabletop that you lot are using. So check them out. They're really good. We use Roll20 for our fights and such. So if you see us switching scenes, overlays, it'll be to use Roll20 because it's a really cool virtual tabletop. We use Syrinscape for all our background music. We have successfully, we are now using the online app where the controller of the Syrinscape, their Dungeon Master, so they game, they can play it through the app to your lovely ears. So it's incredible if you sat on a table or if you're playing online with your mates because of all the lockdown rules. It's really cool to get your ambience going. If you throw 200 bits at us, we get a free reroll as players. Those 200 bits have to be spent this session. We can't carry them over. We can only have 5 at one time. We can't use them on the Dungeon Master's rolls. I don't believe the Dungeon Master lets us use them on death saving throws. And we've got to use them this week. Syrinscape's done. Sponsored done. Oh, we've got a book out on a drive-through RPG, I think. DM's Guild, one of them. I can't remember. Hopefully a moderator's watching tonight and linking it. Probably not. Called Tasha's Heavier Crockpot of Bits and Bobs. We sold about, I think, actually over 200 copies now. It is filled with brand new 5th edition subclasses, feats, but 80 new spells because one of our lot got a bit carried away. There's a lot of artwork in there from some friends of ours who are very talented. So go check it out. It's really cool, really cool. Right, so I'll hand you over to Rob. Rob, if you want to give a little spiel of your lovely channel first.
Thank you. So obviously we DM on here, I DM on here, and this lovely party for Rime the Frostmaiden on Heavyweight Gaming. But we are branching out, and we are going to be starting a new campaign a week on Monday on our own channel. Still going to be running this one, so don't worry. Still going to be playing in Carbon, still going to be DMing on Heavyweight Gaming, but we're going to be playing new Candlekeep Mysteries book from Wizards of the Coast on our new channel, The Short Rest Tavern, which will pop an advert up on the break. And for the first 10 episodes, anyone who is watching will have the chance to win a copy of Candlekeep Mysteries through D&D Beyond. So if you want to get yourself some free source books, you want to get your own copy of that and be in with a chance, then tune in. We'll pop a link in the chat. And like I said, at the break, there'll be a little bit more information. So yeah, if you want to watch some more D&D on a Monday when there's nothing on Heavyweight Gaming, so between the two channels, there's something running pretty much every day. So we're really looking forward to it. There's a few familiar faces, a few of the people playing this game will be playing in that one. And yeah, looking forward to playing some more D&D because every day is the goal, right? Every day is Dice Day. So we'll do a very quick recap and then we will jump in to tonight's game, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Slightly modified campaign, secrets worth dying for. We are back in East Haven. You guys had recently taken on a contract between Captain Imdra and the town speaker Daneth of East Haven. You had reported into them following a pretty nasty public execution, a burning of this at the stake of a supposed wizard of the Brotherhood, the Arcane Brotherhood, a secret society of wizard sorcerers and arcane practitioners who had fallen into disrepute with the guards and been summarily executed. You'd come off the back of a trip to Caer Konig where you'd uncovered a Duragar outpost nestled into the walls of a mountainside and discovered a few bits and pieces that helped you on your journey, have a few missing pieces of the puzzles fit into place, and more importantly, a note seemingly between two people who both referred to a third person as father about activity that they are in and around East Haven. Daneth and Imdra offered to share their resource, share their intelligence of their town's guard if you were able to venture outside of the city grounds to the lakeside caverns to uncover what mysterious disruption had been happening there. You guys headed out. You entered the caves. You got into a pretty scary fight with some reanimated bones and ultimately fought and defeated a hag creature, apparently the source of the disruption. And then you lugged the giant magical cauldron you found all the way back to town between Celine and Gentle Steps, neither of them willing to admit it was really heavy and awkward. They just sucked it up and got on. Elkis nearly, did plummet through the ice, was fished out, and wandered back to town a little bit worse for wear. And you all spent the night at Celine's place. The cauldron dragged into the front room, and everyone kind of retiring for the evening. So that is where we will jump back in. It is morning. The morning does take you all. The sun does start. Let's say the sun. The slightly less dark. The grey dim light starts casting some shadows through the windows, and you find yourselves awake either on the floor or on furnishings or wherever it is you found yourselves.
Trying not
It's
to
a great
look weak.
question.
And just trying to casually stretch without going, ow. In a corner somewhere. She'll just come off to the bathroom.
Are my clothes dry now?
Yeah, so throughout the night, you guys will have come fully rested. The exhaustion of carrying the cauldron will have finished. You'll have dried out. The clothes will have been passed back around to whoever lent Elkis and Vale various robes and things. And yeah, you are fighting fit, a little bit achy, but otherwise in good states of health. Gentle Steps, you've probably got a few bruises from the kicking you took the night before, but for the most part, the rest of you, yeah. Today is a new day.
We don't need to do like a montage of us
Shiny
getting
day.
dressed then.
No dressing montages today, no.
Well, I'm gonna start off by like putting my cloak back on, because I feel the cold.
Do
or something.
do it slowly, Audrey.
Very slowly.
It's like a reverse striptease.
Hour and a half. It's just got
I just
20
slide
buttons.
it up over my shoulder as it like caresses down my arm.
Elkis is
I'm gonna stop.
pants, by the crop top. It's going to adjust it a bit. And then it's going to find their actual armor. Yeah.
Didn't Celine give you a shirt or something?
You
Something that would
imagine
normally-
it's probably a little bit past the equivalent of daybreak in 10 Towns in the Dale. It's early. the few people out and about have started going around their day's business, those who still have businesses. You see a few people heading out towards the lake with equipment, fishing equipment. As a general observation, as you kind of watch the town awaken and kind of spring into life, there are signs of poverty and signs of malnutrition and signs of hardship. It's not very often you guys have had a quiet morning where you can kind of watch the world go by, and now this opportunity is there. You can see a little bit of the hardships that are falling on the town, that the weather and the unrelenting dark and cold is starting to have.
So from last week, the rest of us don't know that the cauldron has this ability, right?
No, Audrey
was the only
kept
one
that
who-
information to themselves.
So I'm assuming we have to go and talk to the town speaker at some point and tell them what we saw. I think that was part of the deal, and hopefully they can give us the information that they promised us.
I suppose we do. What time is it?
Early.
Early morning.
Early.
Breakfast first?
Breakfast.
Just nod. She's just gonna nod and be like,
So, over the next 30 or so minutes, you guys kit up, get your bearings in order, sort out your equipment, feed yourselves, get fed, and it's not too long before you're closing the door of Celine's abode behind you, and you're back into the snow-encrusted streets of East Haven on the far eastern side. You can see kind of right on the edge, one side, the fairly sprawling town, metropolis, and the port in the background, and then the other side of the house is just this endless rolling fresh, like that crisp, snowy feels untouched by anything, no footprints yet to be disturbed. Postcardish. Picturesque, if you will.
Would you imagine that
magical.
anyone would be at the town hall by now? Is it like people are starting to move around and it wouldn't be too early to go?
You can see a few sort of people who do have businesses and a few people that do have establishments are starting to open up, so it's a fair, it's probably somebody around.
Should we head there then, get this over with?
Oh, easy.
Get this over with. Wow.
Well, they're not the nicest person to talk to, so...
No, they're not, but should we keep the cauldron here to ourselves for now?
Yes.
Why?
Why? Did she say that in did Adri say that in like a
Like
shocked way? Or just like, yeah, me no.
Nope.
Yes.
It was a yes.
It was like, yes, okay.
We're
So-
going to keep this here.
Why?
Why?
There is bad
Why?
Gigi vibes. Telling you now.
Bad
I
vibes
agree.
in what way?
So we're going to keep the bad vibe juju cookpot in Celine's house.
It's
It's
safe
the
as
safest place to
I
be.
feel like I don't have any concrete evidence, and I know you can be like, oh well, what do we care then? But I feel like while it's not being used, it's gonna be okay. But once it gets used, it's gonna be used for bad things, and
Kind of bad things.
A high five, Elkis.
Cooking pot. I know it's had people in it, but if we
What do you
clean
got?
it very well, then surely like the tavern can use it or something.
Washing up liquid in a scourer because new
It
before.
looks
Do I think that Adri's being truthful?
Tinfoil and water cleans it up.
Make an insight check. Make a deception check, Audrey.
I hadn't finished my explanation, so I don't know what I'm trying to deceive.
Okay, what?
you're still,
17.
but you're still deceiving,
just-
so it's still a deception check.
No, because I'm
I
not.
haven't made up the lie yet.
No, because
Let's
I'm
make
not.
this simple. Roll the dice.
I don't think this is a deception though, because I hadn't finished my explanation, so it wouldn't necessarily be a deception. But fine, I'll roll.
It's just the way she said yes.
Just gonna stare
20.
at Adri, narrow my cat eyes.
What was the
I
number, sorry?
20
I got 17.
plus 3.
What was it?
I have a plus 4.
Jeez. You're not, Vale, you're not particularly experienced with arcane practitioning. You know a little bit, but nothing about kind of anything beyond some basic combat spellcasting and things like that. You have no idea what this cauldron can do. yeah,
Fair.
If it's cursed
If you
and
think
used,
that's best, Archie.
it's pretty convincing that it's a bad juju.
if it's
I
cursed,
choo-choo.
I feel I need to destroy it.
Look, okay, I don't feel like it's cursed, but with the
I
greed,
will point out that this is like a 5-foot wide cauldron, right? And it's a 50-pound cauldron. It takes up the fairly sizable portion of the room that you're
It's
in.
heavier than £50.
yeah.
It was heavier than 50.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it was
It
the
was-
two of you to
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
3 foot across last
It
time.
wore us out. It wore
3
us
foot
two
in
out.
diameter.
Yeah. Well, me, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now with this, I've tried to study this part, and it's a great tool. It's a fantastic tool. You put food in it, and it just kind of keeps going, and there's always plenty to go around.
So it never stops feeding people.
There's people dying out there from hunger.
There's people dying everywhere from hunger.
And
Yeah,
that's
well, I'm not carrying
no
it to the next town.
Jesus.
But it's here now.
But if you think about it, people are going to catch wind, and it's
Come
just
here
not
and
going to
eat.
get shared
And
out
survive.
equally, and we're going to
Stressful.
be the people that are then in the wrong with the fact that we weren't able to share this wealth with everyone, and it's going to be used for the wrong reasons. I just feel it.
How can you use a ever-feeding pot for the wrong reasons?
People will
Easily.
get fat is the worst that will happen.
Right.
No,
it's
the
not like
town.
going to get
let-
fat,
The
is
town
that-
starts charging. If they start closing it off and starts charging obscene amounts to the other towns for coming in to eat, then yes, they'll
Why
do
don't
that.
Then the other towns will say no because nobody's got any coin or trade or food or anything. So the
So
starving town will
theoretically-
charge another starving town, and the other town will
You-
go, we have nothing to trade with.
We have to make a good deal with them. That if this is used the wrong way, we
Are
come back
you
for
going to stay
vengeance.
here
Not-
and make sure they do that?
No, but I'll take
Then-
heads instead.
Wow. As long as we don't do the wrong thing or anything. Oh, then.
If you do the wrong thing, we're gonna do the wrong
Isn't
thing.
I chaotic
right?
neutral?
We could have
in theory, this is a fantastic tool, but it's going to get used for the wrong reasons.
Where
and
you
the people
from,
that need
Adrian?
it, and the people that
Where are you from, Adrian?
fantastic question. Pretty sure it's lonely.
You're from Hollywood.
Good question.
Yeah,
well
it's
made.
lonely words.
People starving there?
It's one of the more poverty-stricken. The northeast, the further east you go within the 10 towns, the less affluent it gets. You're currently on the west side, and East Haven's it's the second biggest and the wealthiest, and it's in pretty dire straits. So you haven't been into Lonely Wood or that side of the area. The closest you've been is Targus, and that was pretty run down.
You telling me that East Haven is on the west side of 10 towns?
Sorry, no.
Yes.
East Haven's the other way around. Everything that I've just said is
No,
backwards.
you should have kept it in that. Because that would have been beautiful, and it would have matched with so many people.
I have an
Thanks for
idea.
watching Heavyweight Gaming. You can tune in next
Hey,
week.
whoa, whoa,
We're going to
whoa.
play
It's
next
a short rest down, mate. Oh.
Yeah, so
Celine's gonna raise her hand up.
Can I
The further
go
west you
to
go, the more poverty-stricken it gets. You're on the east side at the moment.
Alright,
aren't you?
so back to the beginning of
Thank
the monologue.
God.
I have an idea.
Where are you from?
I'm from Lonely Woods.
Are they starving there?
We're not as well off as here.
So do you want to give the pot to them?
Ow.
I'd
I have
love
a better
to, but
idea.
It's heavy.
Why? Why is it a better idea?
Well,
Rob, I thought that was a sippy cup.
Why will
so
they
did
not?
I, Jesus.
let's keep our mission. We're talking about starving, dying people here.
Damn it.
What will stop
This-
Lonelywood doing the exact same thing you just said?
So Celine's cogs are turning with whatever little intellect she has, but food is food. And she has grown up out in the wilderness, so she's used to preserving food. How about we make sure that they know, whoever we give this to, that this is a never-ending cauldron of food. And it's so cold here, you can pretty much take the food out and store an abundance of it outside in the cold to be frozen
If we don't do
until it's used.
it,
It doesn't need to be constantly hot and served up. It
Do
can
you
be.
think that people are honestly going to be that smart and they're not just going to go, oh my god, hot food,
I-
yes, all for me?
I
I don't know
don't.
if they have
Take the
Tupperware.
hot food. Well, not Tupperware, like brass, like pots and stuff and everything that you can leave out. This is what we used to do out in the
What else
Wilderness.
we can do with it?
My tribe, we would make the food. And
Hey,
we
where's
killed
the
an
food?
animal, there was too much of it. We have to freeze it. Of
Is there
course,
anything
this is
else
the
that
best
we
place
can
to
do
freeze
with
it.
this? Like, we can't. It's literally like from what I can gather from this conversation, its purpose is to feed people. So what are we?
And
Why?
look what
What's
it
the
did
point
to
in
this
hanging on?
scary-
What's the
look what
point in
it
hanging
did-
on to it?
Look at what this did to this scary old bitch. She started killing people just so she could be like, oh look, but just in case the villagers come back. No fucking villagers. She was crazy. The pot made her crazy.
She
What if the
is
pot
a
didn't make her
hag.
crazy?
It has nothing to do with the pot.
Crazy. I'm telling
I
you now,
say,
there is something wrong with this pot. You do what you
Celine's
want to
just gonna
do,
sit there.
but I do not agree with this.
It's a £5 million pot. What else are we going to do with it? We're not dragging it everywhere.
No, we are not.
Why don't we just go and see the town speaker and see if they'd heard anything about the hag in the caves? Because they might know, you know, this pot might be something to someone. It might be missing. It might have been stolen. So let's leave it here, go and speak to them and see what they say. We don't have to reveal that it's a pot that feeds everyone. We could just mention the hag. If they know more about the hag, then they might ask about the pot. So let's just go and see what happens.
we can do that. And if in the end it doesn't belong to anybody, then we make that we did in the fields. In the freaking tundra. That my tribe did. If we have an abundance of food, it doesn't go to waste. It gets stowed and stored and frozen along with us. And when we need it, we reheat it. And that's what they can do with this. Why would there be a problem?
Well-
Unless some greedy bastard takes it, and then again I take their head.
Great. It's flawless. Let's go.
I'm gonna follow everyone
Far
out.
from it.
I'm gonna drop a ration into the pot.
Are we all downstairs now then?
I throw
The pot
myself
is-
on my axe.
You make a perception check for me, Elkus. For you, yeah, it's like it's head height. It's it's a 3-pointer to get it in.
That's
I
why
say we don't give the pot.
Is that a 20?
Says, what did he get?
Nat 20.
Not 20?
So it's casual, yeah, just
We
not
got-
funny, no big deal.
Goblins and dwarves to fight, and you rolling nat 20s or throwing a fucking ration.
So you throw it in, and you can't
Goddamn
see
roleplays.
over the lip to the bottom, and you're kind of like, okay, fine. And as you walk, you hear the faintest of hums, and you kind of tiptoe up, pull yourself up a little bit, and peek your head in, and the ration's not there.
this pot eats food. I'm gonna follow others out.
Sorry, what?
Why?
What
Why,
do you
Elkus?
mean it
We
eats
were so
food?
close. We were
What
so
you just
close.
did was give an offering to some kind of weird god that accepted it, and now something's going to happen.
Possibly.
What if it needs to be heated?
Let's go. We've got people to talk to, things to do.
Come on, let's
What
go.
if we need to speak to the townkeeper?
I did not tell him about the pot yet. We'll mention it like Vale says.
I'm just going to
Just
walk
the nuances.
out now and head towards the...
I thought you'd all. I waited until you went out.
Oh, well, I'm gone.
Alright.
I
Town
saw
speaker
nothing.
first, then everything else. Let's get that out of the way.
You
Waltz out with Vale. Towing behind her.
You make your way from the coastal, the edge of East Haven, past the Wet Trout Tavern for all its flaws, and you head back towards the town centre. Takes you about 15 minutes as you're walking. Who's leading? What's your anyone particularly taking point in this?
I'm at the back.
I stomped off. I don't mind being at the front.
Cool. In that case, gentle steps. Can you make me a perception check, please?
Yay, thank you, sweet shrimp.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that was a thing. I thought that was just a "yeah, I'm at the back" kind of exclamation.
What am I doing?
A perception check, please.
Nope. I got 9.
Okay. You're fairly paranoid and sneaky by nature. You tend to be quite aware,
You
and
judge
there's a
me.
few you spot being quite. I won't call you a thief, but being somebody who's quite dexterous with their hands, shall we say, on other people's belongings.
Don't put it like that.
You spot and kind of the the idea that pickpocket's legal here, you do see a lot of kind of younger adolescents. You see a few people who do help
What's an
themselves
older
to coin
adolescence?
see their like coin purses helped, and as they're wandering off, you see a few people disappear into alleyways, and there seems to be a lot of normalized petty crime. Some of it is you see some skills that would rival your own, and people who just like bump into people, sort of knives that come out and catch belts and take valuables, and the more you look and the more you notice, the more you see it happening, and you can kind of this little bit of a dark undertone to the town as you travel through. After the 15 minutes, you do get to the large double oak doors of the town hall. The guards who were two new guards this time who were there, and you are welcomed straight in. They nod towards you, and the doors are pushed open, and you are guided into the interior. You are led back to the same young woman who ran the sort of clerk, or was the clerk who ran the front desk, and before too long you find yourselves in the rich dark wood interior of Speaker Daneth's office. There are 2 seats in front of his desk, and he is currently sat leafing through papers and organizing them into a couple of kind of leather cases, if you like. Without looking up, he just kind of wondered when we'll be seeing you.
Well,
Tell you we'll be back soon.
be like today or tomorrow or sometime.
Expected you back a little bit last night. Figured he'd be seeing you in the morning, if not.
Wait a minute.
A few of the guards thought you weren't coming back.
We got back last night, but we
I
were.
did try. I did try to come back.
We got back last night, but we were a bit worse for wear, so we left it to this morning to come and see you. We were back quite late.
Crisis
Finishes
of
the
career
papers
choice.
and pulls the kind of ties off the cord that holds the case and kind of leans back in his chair. He looks pretty haggard. He looks tired. He looks like he's barely slept. Very much like
Looks like a hag. I attack.
What do you know about a cauldron?
Please tell me you've got some good news for me this morning.
We're all chefs now, apparently.
The fact that you came back
Cuisine.
is positive, I suppose.
Killed a dead giant.
There was a cave with what we think to be a hag, an old lady, in it, and she was protecting herself. She had a reanimated giant in there with her that we took care of, and then we had to dispatch of her as well. We saw some bones. Is that right? There was lots of bones in this cave with her. We couldn't make out any identities, but
There was a will-o-wisp in there. We killed that as well.
A willy wisp.
It's not unheard of. The bones are a little bit worrying. We know some old burial grounds on the lakeside. It's not unheard of for old giant bones to be trawled up from the lake bed in better times when it wasn't frozen, but some rangers and stuff have had hag sightings when we went further afield. Nothing this close to town. Things are getting desperate. Things are feeling creatures in the wilderness are getting this close and practically moving into our doorstep.
yeah,
Just
she was
as hungry as you are.
she was, by the looks of it, killing these people. So I wouldn't be surprised if a few of your missing fishermen, that's how they ended up, I'm afraid.
Oh, keep in mind that she wasn't just killing them; she was also then eating them.
I mean, I was leaving that because I thought we weren't going to mention it, but you know.
What? That she was eating people?
There was a pot of people stew.
There was a pot of people stew.
No, we weren't.
If you think it prudent to do so, if you keep the details to yourself and can be respectful and let the families know we've given up the search, as it were. I don't think they need to know the intricacies.
We also had an unfortunate accident where Elkist here ended up being on the wrong side of the ice, and as we were sort of rescuing them, There was creatures under the ice as well that we noticed. I don't know if you know anything about that. I suppose there are creatures on the lake, but
Yeah, I mean, there's more than the trout that live in these lakes. The bottoms are deep and the banks are wide. Who knows what's in there?
There's a thing that's all.
So the problem's dealt with. We shouldn't be expecting any more disturbances in those caves.
Not unless you get a magic item turn on the town and kill everyone, apparently. It's just a rumour.
there were caves further up that we didn't explore because at that point, after dealing with the giant and the hag and the will-o'-the-wisp, we were fairly worse for wear. But there are more caves further up the rock face that may be inhabited, but we didn't want to risk ourselves for that.
I think we got rid of the worst.
I'm not an expert in these things, but surely if a creature, as you say, is inhabit those caves, other things wouldn't be taking root next to her.
I mean, they were further up, so they might have been separate.
I would not choose her as a neighbour.
The hag, she did mention though, when we were trying to have a conversation with her, that she had, didn't she say she had heard of, like a few days previous, there have been people up there, she'd heard noises, but not for a few days.
I think they went in.
The fisher folks sometimes shelter in caves if they're doing, escape from the worst of the weather. The blizzards can come in quick. It's easier just to take refuge than it is to try and make the journey back across the ice, but
I think so.
it's worrying.
These weren't just people that she mentioned. She, Rob, sorry, she did mention that it was what are they called?
Durgar?
Durgar, yeah. She did mention that, right?
She mentioned they were speaking Dwarvish, maybe. I can't
Speaking of such matters, deal is a deal. I've had reports in from the scouts, people listening to conversations. We've doubled the sweeps across the city in the last 12 hours to see if there's anything what you say is true from northern areas. Activity. No Durgar sightings around here. No mysterious dwarves, no dark-skinned entities that anyone's mentioned. The only thing we have noticed is, you're from these parts, and he points to Celine. The old ferry that used to travel from here to Caer Konig on the coast before the lake froze. That ferry's been frozen in place for months and months. A few of the dock workers have said it looks like it's in use. Looks like people have been around it. Seems a little bit unusual. Might be worth your time, I guess, poking around in there.
How
Other than
far
that,
into the sea is it? Or is it just
it's
in the
not.
dock?
It's just it's frozen. It's literally frozen in port. You can go off the furthest dock and straight off. Other than that, we're waiting for reports back from Revel's End. We've got Mr. Gant over there for the Brotherhood, seeing if he can be squeezed for any more information about what the Brotherhood's up to. It seems that with the gentleman we dealt with here and the one rotting in the cells, there was at least 3 that made the migration to these parts. God knows what they're looking for. I don't trust the wizards myself. Anything that messes with the arcane or unnatural things is just asking for trouble. But if they're here, it can't mean good things to come this far north and risk their lives. You say you've not had run-ins with anyone? None of the powerful individuals?
Not that we can recall. Nothing specific like that. We'll check out the boat for you.
Just word of warning, don't trust what they say. The guy tied to the stake outside, as I'm sure you've heard by now, turned on his hired a bunch of adventurers not like yourselves, get their hands dirty on their behalf, and then rather than handing in the contract, he killed them all where they stood. Nothing but trouble. They're dangerous. If you do run into anyone from the Brotherhood, stay away. They'll be fishing you out of the lake next.
I'll be the judge of that. You never know what the reasons were behind it, but thank you for the warning.
The Brotherhood are not, as it were, sort of outlaws. They are still allowed to exist. I take it they're not wanted in any way.
As an individual, they're a mysterious bunch. As far as we understand, they're from further south, and they've waned in power over the years. They're not organized as they were. It seems to be a bunch of individuals looking out for themselves, climbing over each other for power, and delving more into arcane arts and messing with powers they shouldn't be messing with.
Like what, for example?
Changing the elements, necromancy, alternate planes of existence, rumors of slowing and speeding up time. Who's to say what can be capable if someone can attune themselves to the arcane in such a way? Given enough time, enough study, who knows?
Changing the element. No, go on.
Sorry, the Jirigar that we came across in the encampment that we found, the one that seemed to be a pretty powerful caster, did we ever deduce that he might have been, that was a Brotherhood thing? Because we also found that note there about the Brotherhood, about where they were planning to meet and stuff. That's why we came to East Haven.
Yeah, I don't know much about these Duergar creature other than what you've told me, but from what I gather, the Brotherhood are far surpassing that. If you ran into a high-level member of them, you probably wouldn't be here to tell the tale.
Okay.
Look, I know I said I'd try and get information for you, but it's this seems to be nothing. The only things really around the ferry, there's been talk that an inventor or some alchemist out of the Shrine of the Morning Lord was looking for ways to capture the sunlight that we've lost and return it to the land. It seems there's been some noise around Bryn Shindar about him going missing and not coming back from a recent excursion. That could be worth your time, I guess. Revel's End, you could travel to the prison and question Val and Gant yourselves. But it sounds like you're chasing ghosts with these Duergar.
Might seem that way, but it might be a pattern if we're looking carefully.
Sure that's what you saw up there?
Yeah.
We did?
Are you sure they're here? Yeah, you, Stephen?
Yes. We are sure.
I mean, we'll keep an eye out, we'll double the guard, but
I mean, with
there's
that,
nothing else we can do. We've searched, we've looked, we've keeping our ears to the ground. We have informants, and
Just tell the guards to stay on top of their game, and that's all. Just protect your
we have
people.
our hands full keeping people from each other's throats, fighting over scraps of bread.
Adri, that note, do you remember when we were in the Jirigar encampment, that note that we found that mentioned will be an East Haven brother or something like that? That's why we came to East Haven. Was it written in Jirigar? Because I know you can read. I know that you were the one to read it, but it was written in Jirigar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Yes.
It was written in Undercommon.
Undercommon.
Or,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So the note that pointed us here was that it said something about brother will meet you in East Haven, or it continues in East Haven. We found it in a Jirigar encampment, but it might not be addressed to a Jirigar, if that makes sense, and they referred to each other as brother. So could that not be a brotherhood? You know, I don't know if it's a reach, but them addressing each other as brother, you know, it might be that there are some Jirigar involved in the brotherhood, but it might not have been that this note was addressed to a Jirigar, and they referred to each other as brother. So that's what led us here. So I would, you know, that kind of tells me that there are some of the brotherhood in East Haven.
Will be.
Call me Sherlock Vale.
Look, as much as these theories are riveting, and I'm sure you could go in circles about what ifs and these creatures, whether or not they exist in places you may not have been. I can reward you for your troubles in clearing out the caves. I can only apologise. The information isn't as broad as I would have hoped. Speak to Prudence out there at the desk. We've got a few bits and pieces we've picked up over the time of searching and looking for these wizards, and some of it might be of some use to you. It's a thank you from the town for your service. And consider yourselves having free reign if the guards won't stop you. And should you wish to make the excursion to Revel's End, I can give you a pass to gain entry. It's a long soulless trek for a man rotting in a cell who hasn't said 2 words of use since we've put him there. Like I say, if you buy the ferries, between that and the ferry, we haven't got the manpower to investigate with. But like I say, we're keeping the town together. It's taking all our time as it is.
I think we're more likely to look at the ferry first as it's here, but yeah, the pass would be useful if we find ourselves that way.
Really good of you getting some stuff together. I wish we had something to give you in return that'd really help the town out.
Just gonna high five Elkis.
I suppose what we can give them in return is finding who's harming the town, who's harming my town. This is Celine's
You know as well
town,
as I do that this town's usually its own worst enemy, but the creatures stay at bay. The town guard keep the worst of it out. The lake usually provides in better times. Between you and me, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. I don't see.
It's gravy time.
Between me and the other speakers, the last few councils have been solemn. The plans have failed. We are running out of options. The cold's killing what crops we do have. The lake's freezing over. Stop the fishing. Trade's all but gone.
You mentioned. I'm at a loss for words now. Hold on a second. Celine Sink. Give me a second here, Rob.
Ours?
What the heck are the words I'm looking for? Not alchemy. Yeah, the practices. Celine's gonna ask him. You mentioned that these wizards, this person, they were practicing certain types of magic, and you said changing the elements. Do you think that some of them were trying to probably end this winter?
I don't know. I'm not one for the arcane. In my time, it was steel and wood. I've heard rumors of powerful sorcerers, people who've achieved great things, and people who've been corrupted by such things. I don't know what's capable, truly. Something's created this. Something's created this winter around us. Surely there must be powers that exist to undo it.
I'm not a person who's skilled at magic. I'm more of a take it by the hands kind of approach, but I still don't want to judge them all immediately. There could be some reasoning behind some of their madness if they're trying to fight this. Let's not kill them and burn them at the stake immediately, but try to hold them on a little longer. If you do find somebody next time, keep them locked up somewhere. Don't burn them immediately, no matter what the town does. Tell the town that they died or they were left out in the elements.
Keep things going, but eventually the food stores will run out. There's already talks of some of the more hardy folk to contemplating setting up caravans and seeing if they can make the trip to the mountains. Head south.
Look, I mean, if you find anybody else that's doing something like this, don't kill him or burn him at the stake for the sake of the town. Lie to the town if you need be, but keep him somewhere else. Keep him hidden until the town that he's dead, because we need to question him or her.
Something like this was public knowledge. Word travels fast, you know that. Something like this.
So keep your control and quell it.
It's easier said than done. The guards will talk. The taverns talk.
Then you need to keep an eye on your guards a little more.
Celine, I don't know if we can tell this gentleman how to run his town. It seems like times are really hard around here. Let's just do what we can to help.
Like the food would really solve a lot.
Look, it's like I say, I appreciate you putting yourselves at risk in clearing out the caves. The guards that are working around to keep the town from itself. If we spare any resources or we hear anything else, we'll let you know. Now, if you excuse me, I've mountains of work to be getting on with. If you'll excuse me.
I'll let you know what we find at the ferry later on.
And he just bows his head to you guys, and
Celine will nod, and she's just going to turn.
We see what the person at the front desk has for us.
Mm-hmm.
so as you head into the foyer where the lady referred to as Prudence is sat, as the door shuts to the office, you see behind the door is Captain Imdra. In armor, in her guard's dress. You can see the stress he's under. I suppose he told you there's nothing but nonsense and there's no threats to the town and the guards are doing all they can. Something like that.
What's your take on it, though?
Something's not right. Something doesn't sit right. Speaking to a couple of travelers from the towns, and
What did
we
they
looked
say?
into this threat of these dark ones, these dark-skinned dwarves of the mountains, and a lot of towns have shared similar rumors, myths of ghosts or spirits or unseen thieves in the night taking trinkets and jewelry and things going missing. Certainly nothing violent, at least I'm aware of, and it's kind of no one's really paid any attention to it. It seems to have flown under the radar if no one's ended up bleeding in the streets. These Duragar
And everything on all
creatures.
sides.
I've heard rumors of the Duragar in times before East Haven and the Dale was fully civilized. They reigned the mountains, they reigned the cave, they lived underground, and the sunlight kept them at bay. But if what you're saying is true and you did see this at the outpost, who's to know what's out there?
So that's what brought them
I-
out. They do have an aversion to the sun.
It's not something that we would
What
make
sun?
up.
We haven't seen sun here in months.
Oh, now they're out and about a little more.
Between you and me, I do believe what you saw at the outpost is real. I do think there's something out here with a bigger plan than all this.
I appreciate that you take your word for it. And we will try to find out what's going
If-
on at some stage.
Daneth is a little more skeptical on such things. It's the doom of us all if we overlook what later we wish we hadn't.
I've been trying to say that to him, but he was able to stop me. She made sense, yes. He has to run his town as best as he knows how. And people are suffering everywhere, but all we can do is just keep searching.
We will keep doing our best, and yeah, whatever we say to you is we have no reason to make any of this up. Like, a lot of us are from these parts. Not, I know Celine's from East Haven, but we're all from 10 towns. Like, we do want this sorted as much as anyone else. We're going to suffer just as much as the, regular villager if things get worse than they are. So we're going to carry on doing what we can.
There is potentially, it might be connected, it probably isn't. There's been sightings southward of, out beyond the town, of a structure of sorts uncovered in the recent winds. Seems an old tower, or we had a few guards head out there on a trade route a week, 10 days ago. They said there's a spire of dark iron emerge from the snow. They
What
approached
direction is this?
She'll give you directions. They're vague. It's in a southeasterly direction. It's probably a day or so travel.
Yeah, that's cool.
Beyond East Haven. I don't know what it is. It's they made something buried in the snow, and it seems to be uncovered. And it said it unsettled them. I expected more from the guard, from my men, but they said something about it didn't sit right. Something spooked them. It may be nothing, but if you're down that way, keep your eyes open. Maybe worth seeking out.
I think the plan, not that we've discussed it, but Daneth mentioned the ferry and the activity around there. So I think.
Yes, it was my report. The old ferry used to travel half a dozen times between here and the north, across the
I
lake.
remember. I'm from Caerconic.
It's been frozen in place for over a year now, and one of the guards reported the ice and the snow around the ferry being disturbed, as if people were still using it or people were trespassing on there. Again, you know what the town's like. We've got bigger things to worry about. People squatting on a boat that's out of service, but considering all the uncertainty, it might be worth having a look.
If it's squatting, we'll leave them be, but we'll just take a look because at this point, everything just seems a little off.
Just use discretion. You may have the town's good graces at the moment, but that will run thin if you start gallivanting around causing more distress for the people.
We'll be an
Exercise some caution, some measured approach in your investigations.
I know it's a large town. Maybe I might recognize a face or two. We'll see.
The guards won't bother you, but if you cause problems, we won't have a choice, you understand?
I think the last thing we want to do is cause problems.
Look, take these. These are the... Just give me a second. She hands over what appears to be a leather satchel. Something that it looks like it once would be used as a book bag. Probably sized for a fairly sizable journal of some sorts, and looks quite well made. There are engravings, like leather tooling around the edges. It's quite nice. It looks well used. The leather is creased and worn around the catch and the creases where it's been opened in use frequently. She hands it over. A few of the last belongings of our maid friend before he was put to death. Maybe some use. Just, again, exercise caution.
Celine will nod over to Adri. You want to take this one?
Do you think? No.
I wouldn't know what to look at in here.
The bag is currently closed, and there's like a leather cord that's wrapped around a button holding it shut.
All right. Means we'll take the bag and just...
As you hold it, you can feel two things inside. You can feel a long cylindrical something in the bottom of the bag that takes up majority, and there's something rattling around in there as well, and it's got a fair weight to it. And Imdra bids you farewell. Look, stay safe out there. Again, appreciate your work and you helping us explore those areas. I dare say the guards wouldn't have fared as well as you may have done. And that's protecting the guard and protecting the people here is going to bring us around to some level. Buy you some favor here. Just don't overextend that favor.
Try not to. We'll see you soon. And do watch out. And Celine will take the bag and just look to her group and...
She kind of stands up straight and just kind of re-centers herself a little bit, and the kind of facial expression hardens slightly, and she kind of marches out of the room.
I'll just give her a nod.
Is this what we think that he meant by the stuff, or do we see someone else for more stuff?
You probably assume that is the stuff he mentioned.
Okay. No more stuff.
This is all the stuff.
What's in
How
it,
about we
Sully?
look at this stuff, maybe in a safer place.
We're here by ourselves right now. Why don't we just have a look?
Yeah.
Suppose it'd be good to know what
Is
we're
there a
carrying
table
around.
nearby?
There is Prudence sat behind the desk, just kind of in the reception area that you're in.
Swing
Hey,
by.
She's just kind of,
Prudence, can we use your desk for a moment, please?
yes, I'm sure that'll be fine. And she kind of
Thank you.
pulls some papers away and moves a pitcher
Sling
of water and
Plop
makes
the
room.
bag down on the desk and just start plucking the stuff
Thud.
out.
You find make it no, you'll know. Make a Arcana check.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Damn it.
It's to see, it's to see if you recognize what you're seeing.
Oh, 11. Ooh.
Okay.
Plus
You-
one to Arcana.
You find what appears to be a scroll case. You don't recognize anything more than that. It appears to be a scroll case, and there appears to be a small bag of grey cloth that, when you pick it up, feels like this thing's inside. But as you kind of explore it and rummage it and look around, it appears empty. You're not quite sure what it's supposed to be, what it does, if it's dangerous, what its intention is.
So the outside of the bag, it feels like there's like something like inside, but when I look inside, it's nothing.
Yes.
Pour it out.
So it's like, how much is it weigh?
£1/2.
So I'm guessing it's like something like this, a little bag.
Yeah, probably around that size, yeah.
And she's looking inside, and she's like,
Tip it up. Tip it up.
You look inside and you just see the grey cloth. And you turn it upside down. Shake it. Doesn't appear to be anything there.
Turn it inside
and
out.
it still weighs. My
Yeah, it
Tell
still weighs. When you hold it in your hand, it feels like there's something in there. It feels like
Turn it
there's
inside out. Is that
a
smart?
handful of things in there. And it
She'll
has
have-
heft. It has heft and weight, but once you go to investigate, it appears to be empty.
Okay, she's gonna turn it inside out, just warily, like far away from herself. Let's go.
Make a deck save in. No, I'm joking.
But he's
You turn
not
it inside
though.
out. You can see the stitching, very fine leather stitching around the edge and the drawstring, and see the craftsmanship. But
She'll turn
but
it back
inside
and
out,
everything.
small grey bag. You've got a right way round, small grey bag.
And this is not the weight of the leather and everything. This is like extra weight in it.
Feels heavier. You do
I'm just
see
gonna turn to
some
Adri and be
very,
like-
there is some very, very, very fine runic markings across the base of it that have been tooled into the leather. That
Does
way.
Celine recognize them?
You do not.
Damn it.
Not on a 9 or whatever it is, 12 or whatever it is. You
I'm going to turn to Adri and just ask her, please can you look at this? I have no idea what I'm doing.
I'm just gonna go over and be like, yeah, I'll take a look.
Thank you.
Why are you
Add
being
her a
mean,
little-
Deirdre?
Hold the baggies.
Your plan.
If you wanted to spend time looking at it, you probably be able to figure it out with time.
Cool, because I rolled shit.
You wanted to kind of sit down and have a look at it, or just
Yeah. Now that I'm actually looking at them, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I need to focus.
so yeah, you recognize immediately that the scroll case is a copper tubed scroll case, and due to the nature of the copper casing, you are pretty familiar with it being usually a kind of combative spell.
Combative.
Usually, something used offensively or something used that can be dangerous rather than utility, and that's why it's kept in a more stable container, and it's more kept in a sturdier container rather than just wrapped up or in a bag. It's kind of a hard case, if you like. The bag, you spend a few times with it, you kind of turn it inside out a few times, you kind of tap into your arcane knowledge, and you discover it to be a bag of tricks, or what's called a grey bag of tricks. And you know that if you reach inside the bag and you concentrate on the item itself, there is a small fuzzy item inside that you can pull and throw and when it lands, it turns into a creature. And the creature, you're not sure what, and the creature is a temporary assistant or aid and friendly to you and your companions.
Soft rat bags.
I convey this to the rest of the group.
It's a bag of random pets.
Essentially, yeah.
That just sounds like a whole lot of fun.
The
Can we
reason why
still-
none of you are having it. You can keep hold of this and the other thing as well, because you're going to make it go boom.
You've not seen one in person, but you've heard of the bag of tricks before, and they originally developed as like a parlor trick for things like creating small like pet animals like rats and mice, fish and things to appear on command, and over time different ones became more experimental and people sought after rarer ones that could create, or at least temporarily create, materialize larger, more dangerous creatures.
Essentially, we have a battle pet.
It's going to turn out to be a bunny.
Hey, I mean, Buddy in some scenarios from, the UK shows, the movie, the famous one.
So from a mechanics point of view, basically you can take an action to put your hand in the bag and throw the item 20 feet. When it lands, it transmorphs, and then it acts as basically a bestial companion. You can use a bonus action to command the creature to move and what action it may take.
Yeet the murderous bunny at a person's face, just go.
And you can pull up to 3 items at a day, and each time it's used, there's a chance it gives up its power.
I would like the bag of pets.
I'm going to keep hold of it just for now.
I do not trust them with a bag of pets, but okay.
And
The grey bag of tricks.
I'm going to keep hold of it just for now. And
but
I will assess where this could go.
in which direction we could put the bag of pets into Elkus's hands and eat them across. A very
With
angry little
the-
paladin with a very angry bunny. Just go.
The scroll case, you understand it to be, you see some of the scrolling on there, and you see it as being some sort of evocation magic. It's got the School of Magic, the icons of evocation on it.
Okay. Okay.
It doesn't look sealed, it just looks like it's in this copper tube, and if you wanted to have a look, you could. If not, you're currently taking up Prudence's
That
desk.
depends. Am I going to have to make a deck save when I open it?
Don't know if that's how deck saves work.
That's kind of a for me to know and you to find out kind of
I was hoping you'd
situation,
be
I think.
slipping. I was hoping you'd be a
Entertaining.
shit DM. And that would work.
I'll have a look inside if you want.
We are going to go away because these things could either be really great, fantastic, or we are going to go somewhere else, and if it goes wrong, it's not taking out Prudence in her death. Sorry, Prudence. But I'm thinking about you.
She looks like really concerned as you guys are discussing pulling animals out of this bag and potentially blowing up the desk. She looks fairly quiet and meek anyway, but she looks absolutely petrified. Like she's kind of back at her desk and kind of her hands are up. She's like just looking around, not quite sure where to look.
Don't worry, it's fine. I'm gonna pop the items back into the bag and keep the bag on my person. Holding it from the
You
front so Elquist doesn't try and sleight of hand me to get the bag
As you're
of tricks.
putting items into the bag, can you make a perception check for me?
What if I say no?
Then don't.
Used to.
Let's get my
The
notes.
dice said no for me. 10.
10.
Ooh.
10's fine. You spot on the inside of the lid as you're closing it, you do spot engravings, you do spot more runic script, which you do understand that the back whence closed is entirely watertight, weather-tight, and heat-resistant.
What? That's a nifty little bag. I'm going to keep that one to myself.
Elkis in the bag.
Recognize you based on its shape.
Is it airtight?
You recognise the
But
shape.
I could use
of,
that.
You recognise the shape of the bag to look like a spellbook bag, designed to store valuable spellbooks without them being damaged by the elements.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
Cool. Should we go and see about this ferry?
I think we should give him the pot.
So just add to
Rob?
your inventory, Audrey, a spellbook bag,
Okay.
spell scroll, unknown spell scroll, because you've not looked, and a grey bag of tricks.
When we get outside, I think we should give them the pot. The town is dying.
I agree.
I am not being any part of this decision. You do what you want to do. It can't then backfire on me.
That's fine.
I do agree with what Adri is saying, though, in terms of or what was mentioned before, after thinking about it a bit, that something that holds such magic, like them. I don't even pretend to know anything about magic. I can only do what I can do. But surely there might be some kind of negative effect or price or something that happened if this were to be tried to, like, this was being possessed by a woman that we can safely say was not a nice person. Like, you know, this might have downsides, and I don't think unveiling it on the town before we know more about it, it could be that it poisons everyone. It could be that it summons some horrible deity. Like, before we know more about it, is it wise to just hand it over?
Well, Adri spent the time with it and examined it and everything, but at the same time, what we're going to do with it?
I know.
And we're not carrying it everywhere.
I know.
Leave it
just
at my
thought-
place for now. We'll figure something out.
Just thought I'd
later.
point out the, you know, in the interest of balance, what if there is a negative effect that we unleash on the whole, you know, village?
Then we tell the town that. Say, look, we've got this pot. It makes food. We don't know.
Just a quick update for Gentle Steps. You basically got as a party a watertight book bag that used to hold a spell book, and inside is a spell scroll that they've not looked at, and a bag of tricks which let them pull out basically little pokeballs. You throw them, they turn into stuff.
I saw the bag of tricks and the copper bag.
Okay.
We're not going to use the pot. We're not going to carry it around. I think we should give it to the town. Tell them we don't know if there's side effects. Use it at your own risk. Let's go do our stuff. We might
Okay.
never.
They're gonna then, you know, these people are starving and dying, and they're so hungry that I don't know if they would think about it
What's different?
logically.
What's different than if it's poison and they die, or they starve and they die? It's a little bit of hope.
Morally, it also just feels wrong, the fact that we're giving them a pot that housed their friends and family.
It feels wrong to me that we're withholding
Nobody
free food.
needs to know that.
Could we not, if after we've been to the ferry, could we not try and cook something in?
Disinfect
Well, we can clean it, and then can we not try and cook something in the pot, and I'll eat it, and you know, and see if what happens. You know, handing this over blind, it doesn't sit. I want to hand it over, but handing it over without knowing what it does, like at some point today, can we find time to put some food in it?
I've put some
One
food.
of us. Well, then let's go back before we go to the ferry, and I'll eat it, and we'll see what happens. You know.
And didn't Celine taste the food in it?
Not really. She burnt her finger on her
She burnt
face.
her
From
finger
my
in it.
finger. Nothing else happened to me, bub.
Just get
What's
Audrey
that?
to identify it.
I want to hand it over, but I'd feel better about doing so when I know that it's safe, or when we're as sure as we can be that it would be safe.
We'll find some food. Maybe we'll find some wild game and everything somewhere.
You
Just
guys
something.
do what you want to do. I'm having no part of this, because if it backfires, can't come back at me.
I want
Just
to.
saying.
They're gonna die anyway. You heard him.
Celine wants to go back to the tavern where the dragonborn with the blue tongue was, just to see if she's still there. If not, we can carry on.
General Sep's girlfriend.
Yes.
What?
Let's say.
Why do we
on the way to
want
the
to
ferry?
go there?
Let's go see the ferry real quick. It should be somewhere along the way there. Rob, is it along the way there? Is it?
You,
It is now.
the town.
Is it?
The town
West Haven.
hall is in West Haven.
Yeah, the
Born and
ferries in West
raised.
Haven.
The town hall is about one street over from the lakeside. The entire kind of the jetties that go out into the lake cover probably about 800, 1,000 feet up the entire northern coast of the town. It goes on for some time. The ferry you question was the one at the northest point, which is not too far from the Wet Trout Inn. So it's the opposite direction to. Sorry, what was it? It's away from the town hall, but back towards basically where you live.
Where the
to top
Dragonborn
side.
is, so it's near the Wet Trouted where the Dragonborn where she was. I just want to see if she came back or anything.
Yes, they're probably a couple of minutes from each other. The Wet Trout Inn typically used to be the kind of the working folks bar right on the port side of the north side of town. The White Lady Inn, where you went previously, that's on the west side of East Haven, which typically handles the west side of the more richer vessels, people with a bit more money and the nicer boats and the more luxury boats rather than working fisher boats.
West Haven.
East side and the west side.
West Haven, I'm not gonna live that down for a while, am I? East Haven on the west side of wait a minute.
West East Haven.
Cali, New York.
Come on then, let's go and swing by the Wet Trout, check in with Dragonborn, and then go to the ferry.
See how long she's been there, or if she's. Oh, sorry. See how long she hasn't been there, where she might have
Okay.
scared off to.
You get back to the Wet Trout. It does appear that it is not open just yet. They're kind of preparing. You can see through the window.
Are you telling me we are waiting for the Wet Trout to open?
You
No.
are.
No, we're not. We just
You
want
can
to swing by,
see
but it's
through.
open.
You can see through the shutters.
It's after
like
9 o'clock, it's fine.
Through
Yeah,
the
it's
windows,
really
you can
not.
see. You can see a few sort of younger folk that seem to be kind of hired as barbacks who are taking chairs off of tables and wiping things down and getting ready for opening, if you like.
We want to knock on the window, see if Blue Tongue's in there.
A knock on the window.
I'm just gonna peer through the window.
I
and
can't
see
reach
who's
these.
wiping down.
There's kind of this look of like deer in headlights as these two teenagers kind of look up and are kind of shocked and just kind of not quite sure what to do as these people are banging on the window and two or three of
I'm
you are
just gonna-
staring through the window at them.
I'm going to be
Just-
jumping up and waving.
There's condensation on the window, as if one were to draw on it.
Frost, you could draw it as this frost and
I'm gonna do a heart in front of Jenel's steps.
make a persuasion check.
What am I persuading?
I was gonna
That's
just kind
yours.
of like
To melt.
motion to them, like
Persuade
It's the opposite of it.
smile.
It's a friendliness check, I guess, but this is the nearest thing we have.
23, 18 plus 5.
90.
And one of them kind of stands behind the other one. They kind of move together, and door opens a crack. What do you want?
Have you seen Babe? I got a fucking clue what her name is.
I forgot that you called that thing.
Open. What do you want?
Babe,
I just said. Have you seen Babe? Blue tongue lizard. Quite the
We're
scales
looking
on
for
it.
his-
Dragon.
We're looking for his girlfriend.
What?
Has she been around?
She's not my girlfriend yet.
Who are you looking for? No idea what
Dragonborn.
you're on about.
Dragonborn lady works here.
Cracking pair
Oh.
of scales.
It's like
She owns this place.
You're looking for Nemetra.
that'll do.
Yeah. Has she got a sister?
I mean,
Seen her in-
yeah.
Has she got a sister?
Apparently she took off the other night and
Oh, little man. Has she got a sister?
not that I know of.
Yeah, then it's
Question to
definitely
Giant.
her. It's definitely her.
She went behind the bar a couple of times, I think. She took off the other night.
At
Didn't
least
see her.
once we saw her.
She took off. Yeah.
What do you want with her?
You're too young. She's not here.
Do you know where she lived by any chance?
No.
She took off after talking to us. Oh, good. Oh, brilliant.
We're not
We just
we're
have
not
that
open.
effect
You're
on
gonna,
people.
What are you doing,
we've got
I don't know.
Get ready, and
Done.
they shut the door on you.
You motherfucker, Sebastian, calm yourself.
I'm just gonna shut the door.
Sebastian.
Rude.
Open the door.
I can't see any of that. Dragon.
Says Dragonborn is sus.
Hella.
Very. Yeah.
Elkis is still stood there doing that.
Jesus Christ.
Had Elvis in the head like.
I shake my
Try.
head at Elkis.
I do
Can't see.
try.
And I'll be like, Elkis, Elkis, my friend, that's
Excellent.
why you keep hitting me on the knee.
Cease and desist.
Oh,
TOS. TOS.
Add that to the character art.
Tony,
Oh
no.
God, no.
No,
No,
Tony,
Tony.
Tony,
No,
No,
Tony,
Tony.
no.
I've seen them
No.
boobies. I've seen them boobies.
Put the pen down.
Yeah, put the iPad down.
Stop. Because we know that you would.
Contemplating.
Now we've interrogated the teenagers. Are we off?
Yes.
I think also the Dragonborn, I'm sorry to say, Gentle Steps, may not have been as organically interested in you as she hoped she was.
Organically interested. What a line.
That's brilliant.
Organically
Can we add
interested.
that as a quote to
Just put
your
that.
night pop? Because that was gold.
Sorry, I'm just not organically interested in you. You're not my type.
As in, she may have been
Organically.
Non-organic,
non-organic with her interest.
made with GMOs.
And she stuck around while she talked to me. She left when she talked to you lot.
A sprinkle of MSG.
I don't know what's going on, Gentle Step.
I mean, blue tongue, but still.
I'm unsure, Elkis.
GMO to the max.
We've lost Vale for an archery for a little while.
So,
Again.
Stop happening.
Elkis, do we go
Stopping
cash in
that
on this
thing.
cooking pot?
But we're gonna stop.
Worth a few gold.
Cash in on the cooking bowl. Yeah.
It's a good idea.
She left after talking to us. She's possibly gone to tell people things.
So,
We can assume.
Probably.
How fit Gentle
so
Steps.
what's she going to tell them? What's to tell? That we're obsessed with cooking?
Oh, well, what did we tell her? Can you remember what you spoke about?
Yeah.
Well fit.
What did you talk about?
My,
Come on, be organic.
my
All natural. Come on.
My organs.
Two-handed great
Spit it out.
axe.
We talked about Sebastian for a little bit.
I think the last thing you said to her was that you said,
Efficiency with pole weapons.
"Do you
I really am.
do you know those guys over there?" And she went, "I don't know." And then you stood up on the bar and went, "You, I'm gonna buy you guys a drink." And then they legged it, and then we legged it, and then she legged it.
This is
You
what
chased
happened.
them into the woods and murdered them.
Semantics.
Self-defense.
Yes, but.
Elkis hit them with a hammer. That's self-defense.
Yeah, and then
But
I
maybe
touched the
she
blue
said-
whirling thing. I really should have done that, should I? But I did.
Was literally
Anyway.
impaled on a sword.
Anyway, what is the plan, guys? You are at the door of the Wet Trout Tavern, shut in your face, in the cold, around mid-morning.
Did we hide those bodies in the wood? What if she didn't find them? What if she did?
To the ferry or to the pot?
To the ferry. Oh, the pot.
To the
We've
ferry.
done
To the ferry.
We've
Fuck the
walked-
pot.
Yeah, we've walked down
I'm
here.
done with
yeah.
the pot.
To the sweat drip down my balls.
Right, so you guys take the couple of streets over, you go through a couple of tightly packed alleys that lead between the residential areas near Celine's house, a couple of streets over, and find yourselves on the frozen lake side of Lacadenacia, where you see probably about a dozen or so wooden piers in various states of disrepair jutting out over the ice, with numerous vessels of all shapes, colours, sizes, states of use, all held tight in the ice. A lot of the vessels are buried under mounds of snow that have probably not seen use for months and months and months, with just the masts and sticking through. A couple more have been swept or kept clean or kept clear, if you least, even if they are frozen. You can see some areas that people have tried to break through the ice, see tool marks and areas that's been chipped. Yeah, it's not the hustle and bustle port that you're used to, Celine.
Or numb.
And at the very north end of the pier, you do see the ice-encrusted ferry between the one that you recognise from between East Haven and Caer Konig.
So 9 DM.
Ship home.
We, as you guys start making your way towards that ferry, we will have our break. Let you guys go and get the giggles out of your system.
Called
Gonna be
Tequila
organic.
I just want to ski over to the ferry now.
So yeah, we'll jump a break. Thank you very much, guys and girls, for watching in the chat. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your support. We'll be back in about 10-15 minutes, and we'll continue as the party makes their way towards the ferry.
During the break, you will see an advert or a little banner advertising the Short Rest Tavern, which is this lovely bunch of organic people that will be doing their own candlekeep mysteries and such. So check it out, follow the link. Well, it's not a link, just put the URL and go to Twitch, look for Short Rest Tavern, start following them, and you'll get to see some geekiness back in 15.
Bye.
Hello, welcome back. Part 2. Icewind Dale, Rime the Frostmaiden, session 346. Rob is dungeon mastering and a half.
300 years later.
Yes. Hello,
We're
Spud
still
Rob.
here.
And I'm going to hand you over to Rob. Go, Rob.
Thank you. So, thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. We pick back up with the party who have, been catching up with things. They've picked up a few artifacts as reward for their quest in helping out the town speaker and Captain Imdra. Discovered a few little bits and pieces of what they are. Went looking for the Dragonborn that they met a few nights prior before their encounter out in the wilderness, and unfortunately has not been able to track them down. And he's following up on a lead from Captain Imdra about suspicions that one of the frozen-in-place ferries previously used to be a tourist vessel between two of the towns. The snow and ice seems disturbed, and the guards don't really have the resource to fully investigate it. Might be worth a look in. Plus some other bits and pieces, a few other areas of interest they may want to investigate in the future, both within 10 towns and further afield. They've decided to keep hold of their cauldron of plenty for a little while, still having a few inter-party discussions about the best use for it and the moral obligations versus profit versus blah blah blah. We'll let them worry about that at a later time. And yeah, you head towards the ferry. The day, by Icewind Dale standards, is calmed down. There is what little light coming through. The sky appears to be this grey but clear. The wind dies down a little bit, and you can see what little light there is reflecting off of just the endless expanse of ice that is Lake Danishir, that spreads for miles and miles off towards Caer Konig. You can see now, as you guys kind of cut across the horseshoe element of the lake when you walked across it a few nights ago, it extends right round and in a giant horseshoe that stretches for much, much further than you maybe gave it credit for. And at the very, very northern jetty, you see, encased in ice around the hull, the still structurally looking sound. It's seen better days, but the frosted over, ice encrusted East Haven ferry. What would you like to do?
So this cooking pot, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Ange.
Does it look like there's any lights or anything coming from the ferry, or is it just like dark?
Make a perception check for me, please.
This time with an actual D20, not a D12.
A natural D20.
To be fair, you got a 9, not a D12. That's
I
not
got a
bad.
10. I got a 10 plus 1, so out of a D12. What is that? No, I actually did get a 9. What did you say? Make a perception check?
What's
Perception
this?
check to read your perception check.
This strange object.
11. It's dark. in here,
11.
so, like,
Need to get Ange one of those jeweler's magnifying glasses.
tiny.
11.
I actually have one. It's somewhere there.
So you don't see any lights on. You kind of glance around this area of the kind of the working side of the port. There is some of the jetties are completely encased in snow. The fresh snowfall, similar to what you saw this morning, like undisturbed. There's a few kind of bird footprints and a few sort of smaller creature footprints where it's been disturbed. You don't spot any lights or any signs of life, but the snow across the jetty going to the ferry looks heavily travelled. There has been some fresh snowfall in the tracks. It's not being an immediate disturbance, but it certainly has seen footfall in the last 6 to 10 hours, you would hazard a guess.
And the track size, are they like humanoid, like my height, or something smaller?
Make a survival check.
I'm just, wow. Seven.
Their tracks, they were made probably by, they appear to be upright walking humanoids of some description.
Celine,
No, I
what,
lean
what are
down.
you doing, Celine? Yeah, go on.
This is
Snow's
up to you.
getting in
You
my
can do it,
eyes.
Adam.
What are you doing, Celine?
The snow's getting in my eyes. I can't see.
Can't see what, but are you trying to
The
track?
tracks.
Just stay
I
there.
can't see the
Stay
size
there.
of the tracks.
Just stay there, Celine. I'll show you a trick.
Fine.
Veil.
Do you know what? I was waiting for that one. Waiting
Outstanding.
for that.
Outstanding.
Outstanding move. Yes, gentle steps.
Are you any good at tracking? just I hear my name on the wind.
I've got a
You,
trick. What?
you could say it's probably the most of what I do around here. Yeah. What do you need?
I think Celine needs some help with.
Lane's like just squinting at the tracks, going, I can't make this out.
She's licking the
Celine,
snow, and it's
look.
weird.
I'm gonna start like just lean down and point it out to her and have a look myself.
Make a survival check. Make it with advantage if gentle steps is helping.
No, I'm out. I've done my bit.
Oh, fair enough.
No,
No,
gentle
keep rolling.
steps.
Keep rolling. You had your chance. You blew it.
It's
Okay,
okay
yeah.
because it was a nat
Wait.
20, which makes it
It's-
24.
Can I give a disadvantage?
Punch her in the head. She's checking. I think I found it. Wow.
Flicking snow in her
Kicking the
face.
snow everywhere. On
You
a
found nothing.
2095, whatever it is. you just
24.
rolled, they appear to be humanoidish. They appear to be in heavy kind of work boots. They seem to be heavy set, traveling both to and from the ferry over the last 12 hours. You kind of get down level and you take a few moments and you are pretty confident that you see one set of tracks going to the ferry within the last few hours and 3 sets of tracks going away from the ferry within the last few hours.
I'm gonna relay this information to Celine. Really.
Sorry, hang on, sorry. 4 tracks leading away, 1 leading back.
Towards.
So 1 going to the ferry and 4
So-
coming away.
You are from what you know and you're tracking. You are confident that 4 individuals left the ferry within the last few hours, and 1
1 went back.
set of tracks has returned to the ferry.
Okay. I'm gonna whisper all that to Celine, and then be like,
Because she rolled a nat 2034.
and then I'm gonna be, now you tell them. I've showed you what to do.
Thanks.
You tell them.
Lane would just
okay?
kind of get up and just go,
Don't worry.
so. Well, you can decide
I'm just gonna wink
there's-
at gentle steps.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
I mean, The rest of the group are probably overhearing this because hey, they're both Fae. Elvin.
Yeah, the other three of you just kind of hear Gentle Steps go, "Oi, Vale!" and you watch quite clearly as Vale gets down levels and starts whispering in Celine's ear.
And tell them that there was 4 people.
How tall are the people, Vale? Oh, sorry, Celine. How tall are the people, Celine?
I don't know, but let's go find out.
You tend not to know how tall people are from their footsteps. You know roughly, you know that they're heavy set, but you don't know. You won't be able to work out if they're.
How wide is their stride?
That's actually a clever thing.
Fairly
That's
standard.
How big are their feet?
You notice it not goblin, bigger than a goblin, shorter than Gentle Steps.
I have to jump between them.
Yeah, it's definitely a creature bigger.
Footsteps.
It could be consistent with a humanoid, elven, dwarvish, something in that region.
Humanoidy, yeah.
Are you 4 coming? I'm 30 feet up there.
Yeah,
Towards the ferry.
I'm
Yes,
running.
yes.
I set off.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm running behind Gentle Steps, trying to catch up badly.
I'm just slowly chugging behind, just shaking my head, going, no. All right.
So, you guys make your way. You making your way onto the ferry?
Yeah, I want to keep my eyes out around me though.
Okay.
Being rangery.
As you move over to the ferry itself, you can see the snow. It's with your 49 investigation check. You can see the tracks lead onto the boat itself, and then the snow kind of thins out on the deck of the ship, and the tracks disappear as wood and frost take over from the snow. You can see that on the top of on the deck, I should say. I've got some rough measurements for you. Second. The boat itself, about 80 feet in length, end to end, and about 25 foot at its widest point in the middle. You've entered kind of in the middle. There is steps leading up to a main mast to your immediate right, and steps leading up to kind of the steering platform. My boat terminology is not great. Like the captain's seat, if you like, at the left. There are stairs descending down to a closed door, which appears to be the crew quarters or the captain's quarters.
I'm going to do the Professor X pose and do Divine Sense.
What is it you are looking to detect?
Good and evil. I can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell, location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
You do not detect. You kind of mutter your prayers to Saloon, and you are unanswered. Doesn't appear to be any response to your magic.
Don't feel any bad guys at minute.
Is it like a ship? Because I'm struggling to imagine what like a ferry would look like. That's not like the Channel ferry. Does it have like a mast, and is it like a?
The hovercraft.
If you're on roll 20.
Yes, I am on. Yeah.
Yeah, if you see there is a picture of a ferry on there.
Oh, smart. It's just loading now. Cool, thank you. I'll look at it in a minute.
So I'll chuck you guys on the ferry. Vale, there you are.
That's cool. I was just wondering if there was a crow's nest. If I look up, is there?
No, there is
Okay.
not.
Cool.
So if you guys can see the Roll20 map, basically to give you a bit of orientation, you guys will have where you're in the water currently. That's kind of like the leading onto the boat. There's a mast at the front. There's a single mast in the middle. There's a raised up area at the front, which has the anchor wheel, and a raised up platform at the back, which has the steering, the captain's wheel, and 2 decommissioned ballista rear facing that appear to be long since disassembled and not in use. It gives you an idea of the size of the boat, kind of what to expect, what to see.
Cool. Do we want to look around up here, or do we want to go straight for this door? That's to the group.
What? Why?
I'm almost afraid to look for more steps.
Why?
Genuinely.
What are we looking for?
An
Well,
entrance.
there's people here. We want to find out what they're doing here.
It's a ferry.
And perhaps quietly.
But it's a frozen ferry that's been out of service for months,
So we're
years
just
maybe.
gonna hopefully find someone and say, why are you on a ferry?
Well, it's recently, as all the weird stuff's been happening, that people have started. There's been disturbances around the ferry. So it might be that they're planning to start using it. It might be that it's used as a storage for not so nice things. It might be that they're using it as a base because it's out of commission and no one's using it or checking on it. So, you know, might be worth checking out.
Those are far better reasons than we've had for 15 sessions. Do you want me to?
And true.
Do you want me to check the cargo holds and such?
Yeah, that was what I was asking, if we wanted to go down there or if we wanted to look up here first.
Shall we knock?
I'll check the doors and the ways in if you want to look up here.
Make a investigation check if you're investigating the top deck.
I'm looking for traps, mate, on the doors. I'm not investigating the top
Okay.
deck.
Make a
Investigation check on the doors.
your trap check. I forgot the name, but mine's gone blank.
Traps are, is it thieves' tools or investigation?
Yeah,
Oh.
check for traps roll. Bloody hell.
Check for traps roll is an investigation roll.
Yeah.
That's like
Made
Oh,
a question
I
his
think
Brain
entire
just
life at
vanished. I
that
was like,
point.
words.
roll
Yeah.
some dice.
Oh, yeah.
Roll some fucking goddamn dice.
What number did you get? I got a 3. You blow up. It's fine. Dragon comes.
A dirty 20.
The armor starts
Alright.
glowing.
The ice around the door has been chipped away. So where the lock and the handle is has been cleared of ice, and you can see where there's tool marks around where it looks like it's recently been.
Put back into use.
Yeah.
But is it trapped?
The door does not appear to be trapped,
Is
and
it
it does
locked?
not appear to be locked.
I open the door.
Okay. You open the door. There is a small captain's quarter. There appears to be a number of sleeping bags in the room. There seems to be a crate of foodstuffs and basic rations. There is a table pushed up against one wall that seems to have a bunch of papers and a large scroll on it. And the
Piece
rest
of parchment. Is
is
these
the
sleeping
empty-
bags on the floor, or are they part of bunks?
on the floor.
Anyone in here?
There is no response.
Turn back to this lot. Captain's quarters here. Looks like someone's squatting.
Are there any doors leading off of it?
Are there any doors?
There- There are not. So I appreciate on the D20 map. To give you guys an idea, I'm just going to use gentle steps. You are effectively looking into this room with the table and the chairs in it, even though that's not the layout. That's the size you're looking at, to give you kind of an idea.
There's only one way in this way. It wasn't trapped or locked or anything.
It's basically a 15-foot square room. It appears to have been either a study or kind of a captain's quarter that has been
Converted.
repurposed to an area where people have slept rough or have.
The door wasn't frozen over either. They chipped away it. So it won't have been long that they're staying here.
I'm gonna shout to gentle steps. Check the floorboards, and then I'm gonna have a look at the floor out here to see if there's any I can't remember what they're called, but the hatches for storage that go into the lower decks.
Does it have floorboards?
Yeah, it's wooden decking in there.
Yeah, there's definitely wooden decking in here.
Thanks, gentle steps.
There are, in fact, floorboards.
Are any of them loose, gentle steps, as I carry on looking round on the top deck?
I'll have a look to see if any of them are secret-y floorboards.
Yeah, make an investigation check.
You want me to make them loose?
What?
Gonna go up on top where front of the ship is. I don't know ship terms. I'm just gonna look around, just slowly walking around, careful not to creak on anything too much.
Sure.
17, unless Elkis has just smashed through 'em.
Okay, so there doesn't appear to be any hidden compartments. The floorboards they're functional. They're not pristine. It's not a ship designed for glamour. It's designed to be functional and frequent of use. As you're looking in this room, Gentle Steps, you do notice areas on the wood. There are very slight traces of melted snow, or water as it's more commonly known.
Jesus.
I love how you caught
There's-
yourself before we could. Well done.
I was
you
on
got
I thought
that.
someone's going
Eternity,
to crucify me for it.
I was-
I'm going to jump in front of that train before you push me.
I was on the cliff edge
So
there.
close.
Yeah.
You'll never take me
Everyone was about to
alive.
shout, water!
You see traces of what appear to be kind of that kind of great, like dirty water that's been trailed into the room, and it is still wet in places as you're looking around the floor.
As
But
if
you kind
someone's
of
been here not long ago.
very faint traces. So you're not sure how long ago, but recent enough.
The fact
for
that
it
it's
not
still
to have-
water and not frozen is not far off. Elkis, were you in there with me swinging hammer and stuff?
I wasn't swinging my hammer, but I'm poking my head in.
Elkis, be on guard there. Maybe people not far.
So let's say, for the sake of this, Elkis, you're there with Gentle Steps, and the other three of you are kind of. That's why are the two
Yeah.
Elkises? Jesus Christ, we don't need that.
We need them.
Oh, no,
Oh,
thank
yes.
you.
Yes.
No.
The
Stay
clothing,
there,
it
it's
worked.
fine.
And I'll go look at the big parchment on the table.
Okay.
Hammers out, shields out.
Okay. You. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things. Give me a second.
God forbid.
What? A dungeon master multitasking? Crazy.
I know, right?
He can't count to 10. There's no chance of multitasking.
Looking up definition of water.
Jesus, that's the throwback.
Oh.
1 and 3 and 9 divided by 10.
Damn.
You start unfolding and you see the unmistakable sight of a
Elkis.
document you also own. It is a copy of the map of 10 towns that you also possess. The same size, the same layout. It seems to have been commissioned or by the same
Any markings on it?
photographer.
Like little skull and
Yes.
crossbones or...
There are markings on it.
Big
What
crosses.
languages do you speak, young gentle steps?
What do you need me to speak?
Not how this works.
What
I speak
do
that.
you want me to be?
Giant, common, primordial, and thieves' cant. Ye fucking
You do not
thieves' cant.
recognise the annotations or markings. As you look at the map, you can see
Elkis, do you speak annotations?
there are markings, arrows, and notes that seem to be on all of the settlements within 10 towns, and there appears to be markings and annotations to a mountainous region north of Caer Konig, consistent with where you were at the outpost a few days prior.
Elkis,
I would look at the map.
what
Can
are
I
these,
read-
these lines with the triangles on them? What are they?
I read Common and Elvish.
You cannot read them.
They look
I
like
have-
the things in Vale's quiver.
Adri!
You
I'm
guys are in the
guessing-
room,
yeah.
aren't you?
I'm guessing I hear Elkis hollow it.
Yeah, you'll hear him shouting.
Sweet. I go down to see them.
Can you read this for us? It's got
Can I-
scribbles.
Can I read that for them?
What do you speak?
Everything. I can read everything.
That will, in fact, do it. You recognize it as Dwarvish. All of the place names on the map are in Dwarvish. The town, it's a Dwarven translation of a 10 towns map, and all of the shorthand and annotations are in Dwarvish. You can see a marking that just says outpost in the mountain range where you guys were 3-4 days ago. You can see what appears to be inventory checks and a tally charts and mentions of where stores of items have been acquired from. You can see East Haven, Bryn Shindar, Caer Konig and Caer Dinaval being heavily marked, where it seems to have been quite lucrative in whatever it is they were marking. And then the further across the other towns, Targus particularly has very little. It seems to be almost like a checkbox where it's making notes of things that have been found or been itemized and logged.
Okay. I relay to Gentle Steps and Elpis.
There is also far, far to the south in the mountain range of the spine of the world mountain range, there is a markings I'll give you the name. There is a name of a location in the mountain range to the far south, and it is...
Oh, the notebook's coming out.
Would be if I wasn't being
DM.
an idiot.
And while she's reading this, I want to guard the door and keep an eye out as well.
There is it is listed as the Sunblight clan.
Do I recognise it?
I'm relaying the messages. So.
Make a history check.
History.
History with an I.
History.
History has an eye in it.
I think you missed the pun there, but never mind. We'll.
It doesn't matter.
I think
She's a teacher. She can't turn it off.
capitalised on the pun and had your pants down it. 17.
Before your time, but either your elders or guardians or the generation above you have mentioned around campfires in the past of the Sunblight clan, who were worshippers of dark deities, who took their power from the mountains and the evils within the mountains, who were kept at bay by the dawn, the sun rising each morning, and they haven't been cited in terms of your lifetime. You haven't heard any recent, but it seems to be a historic clan of Duragar that have been known to be in that mountain range generations ago.
Cool.
Due to the fact. No, ignore.
It's like the old sort of campfire stories about don't go wandering off into the snow, otherwise the evil Duragar will kidnap you in the night, that sort of thing.
Little Sunblighters.
Have I managed to find any kind of hatch on the main bit of the boat, Rob?
Say again, sorry?
While this is all going on, I'm looking for like a storage hatch or something that I imagine ships mostly have.
You find something. It appears to be stripped out. There doesn't seem to be anything other than a few scraps of wood from old crates and scraps of old sacks and the occasional rotted remains of things that may have spilled out. But it appears the ferry's decommissioned and valuables and things. You notice now that you're on, things like the sails are missing, the rigging has been taken down, the ballista at the rear have been taken down. Most of the removable accessories, shall we say, of the ship seem to have been so.
Okay.
There's no other rooms or hold or anything at all left.
There is a small room leading from the room that you are in, but it appears just to be an empty, again, cleared out room. There's scrapes on the floor where maybe furniture once was, but appears abandoned. Up on deck, can I have Celine and Vale make me perception checks, please?
$17.
That's good. And Celine?
22.
Ooh, okay. On a 22, as you're kind of up on the deck, and you take a moment, and you just kind of start looking around, like you kind of get up on top, you're like, oh, there's nothing here, like, and then you catch something on the wind, and you catch a couple of deep voices initially, and you kind of duck down and kind of listen out, and you can hear a number of voices approaching in the distance. And as you kind of peer over, you spot 3 figures making their way down towards the ferry. You are convinced a split second ago you were looking that way and you didn't see anyone. It's like they've appeared out of nowhere. Suddenly they're on the ferry and moving down, and they're pretty close.
Can I make out what they're saying? I speak Dwarvish, Common, and Giant.
You
Likewise.
recognize it as Dwarvish. They appear to be discussing. It's far away. When I'm 22, you kind of pick bits and pieces about how they've come back empty-handed again, and the boss isn't going to be happy, and they're sick of this surface. They're sick of being up on the surface. And surely they've found enough by now.
I'm going to gesture to Celine and say, get down low.
They are probably about 100 feet away from you, and they're moving towards the boat.
Cool. I'm going to gesture to Celine to get down, and then I'm going to sort of get down and sneak, trying to keep myself out of sight, lower down towards the room that the others are in. And just
the guys up top both make stealth checks, please.
I'm pretty much watching the door inside while they're
21.
21, good stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to say to Elkis, we've got company. Let them know in there if you're on the doorway, Elkis.
16 for me.
What was your, sorry?
16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you both duck down. At this point, it is very apparent that as they get closer, there are 3 hooded Durga. You can see the ashen skin, you can see the dark pupilless kind of shadows around the eyes, the lack of cold weather equipment. They seem to be in leather. They appear to be a mixture of scale mail from this dark iron plate. A couple of them carrying shields. You see their war picks on. They look very similar equipped to the Durga you found at the outpost. And they look combat equipped.
I'm going to say to Elkis as well, after I've said, if there's 3 come in, we've got company, we need to keep one alive. We need to keep one alive. It's going to be
about 80 feet from the boat. They're moving onto the jetty now and heading down the jetty towards the boat.
I'm going to just
They're probably about 12 seconds away before making it onto the boat.
Yeah, I'm going to say we need to keep one alive.
What's everyone doing?
Telling Gentle Steps and Adri we've got company, and I'm just going to in the doorway.
Can you guys see where you all are on the map? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys can move. You guys can move yourselves. So if you need to move yourselves.
We just want to apologise to anyone that's watching at the moment. We're having a little technical issue where we've got double zoom and no map for you to see.
I can't move mine, but I want to be out the door.
My roll 20 is taking ages to load, so I might not be able to move my token.
I also cannot move tokens.
And either, yeah, I'm stuck.
Never mind, I'll fix that next time. I thought you guys could move your own tokens.
I think you have to redo it every time.
They're coming in from the right-hand side, aren't they? The east.
So, yes. So, basically, here is kind of the...
funky thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the ferry jetty goes down this way.
Yep. I'm going to stay in the doorway then and just try to stay concealed there.
Okay. So you guys are in the room, kind of hiding out.
I would like to cast Disguise Self and look like a Durga, please.
Okay. You staying in the room?
I am going to stay in the room. I'm going to sit on one of the chairs and try and act casual.
There aren't any chairs in there. It's basically these sleeping bags on the floor, a table pushed up against the room with the maps and things on there.
I'm going to kind of perch myself on the edge of the table then while, looking at the map.
Okay. Make a perception check. As you move and perch yourself at the back of the room, make a perception check for me, please.
I can attempt to.
What's the plan?
Celine have time to sprint to the group down there and hide, or no?
you could sprint or you could hide. Those two things tend to be mutually exclusive. I don't know if you've ever tried playing hide and seek at full sprint.
I have in Manhunt, actually. You have to hide behind like stuff or between.
How did that end?
I wound up between 2 staircases, actually.
I rolled a 14 on perception.
Okay. So up top, you guys are still hiding on the boat. You are you duck and veil behind the lower staircase. Celine, you kind of perched at the top of the staircase looking over. Guys downstairs, Elkish, you kind of take post in the room. You turn around and you see Audrey's form kind of shimmer, and this kind of mist and ice kind of encompasses her form. And then as the ice kind of melts away, her form shrinks down and looks like one of the Duergar you met at the fortress. Audrey, as you move around the room, you perch yourself on the kind of the edge of the sill, and as you do, for a split second, you're convinced you hear footsteps to your right, like 1 or 2, it's just boots clicking on wood.
Okay.
The Duergar up top for Vale and Celine, they are about 30 feet away from boarding the boat. You probably have about 6 seconds before they actually get on the boat, and it would be practically impossible for them not to see Elkis.
Can I loose an arrow?
Are you waiting, or are you just straight up firing?
I mean...
Are you firing?
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, there's no point in me disguising myself now.
Okay, let's roll initiative then, please.
Sorry, I completely forgot about that, actually.
Well, you wouldn't. Well, Vale wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have seen. No, I wouldn't have seen you on the
Yeah.
other side. Yeah. Rob, my roll 20 is being awful, so I'm not going to be able to move myself.
I can move you.
Do I not have any cover there? I was imagining myself being back against the wall and that door faced out.
You'd have a bit, but if they move onto the boat and start moving down the staircase, there's 3 of you jammed into a 15-foot square room. There is not, like, it's... You can hide behind the door all you want. If they get into that doorway and look in, they're going to see one of you. Like, it's...
Well, yeah. Yeah, okay.
There goes the arrow. That ding.
So, initiatives.
That
Celine,
was
what
a
do we
miss.
There'd be 15.
15. Gentle steps I'll get to when he comes back. Elkis.
12.
Vale.
16.
Audrey.
14.
Can one of you
Just-
roll...
Just
Can one of
need
you roll a-
80 to roll a 12.
Can
What's
one of you
his-
roll a d20 for me, please?
What's his adding?
I'm
15.
going to assume a +3.
19. Oh.
19.
Elkis rolled first. But I got the higher number, so I don't know.
So what did Elkis roll? He rolled first.
15.
And if we're assuming +3, that makes it a 19 anyway.
Makes it 18, Hannah. 15 plus 3 is 18.
Okay.
I know.
So,
I was testing you.
what was your stealth check? Remind me, Vale.
My stealth check was a...
70 billion?
Natural 20.
No, it wasn't that. It was in the high teens. I think it was a 17.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I've just hit a perception check of 19. So as the creatures, you see as these creatures start moving towards the boat. Let me bring them up so you can see them.
I don't want to see him. I need to be
I
dead.
don't wanna.
Oh,
You
look,
see 3 Duergar, and 2 of them immediately snap their eyes over to where Vale is. And they immediately stop pulling weaponry from belts. They start grabbing they pull javelins. Both of them pull javelins off their back. One of them moves 30 feet onto the boat proper. And he's going to frisbee a javelin towards you, Vale.
Do I not get my attack first, or are they going first?
Nope.
Okay.
They are faster. What's your AC?
16.
I think you're okay. Javelin gets hurled. It whizzes past and just boing, sticks into the wood next to your head. This kind of crude but effective kind of cold rolled iron javelin on this dark wooden haft. and just stabs into the wood. The second Duragar moves onto the boat. And those who understand Dwarvish, you hear them shouting between them. Deal with these upstairs. Check. What's the name? They say check on. Sorry, I should have had this. Check on Dearth. And one more runs onto the boat and is going to again throw a javelin towards Vale. Tracy.
16.
That's another miss. As they're running, they throw them at full sprint, and this one just goes sailing over the back of the ship, and you hear it clatter onto the ice behind. The third Duragar kind of looks a little bit indecisive whether or not to head towards the cabin or kind of see what's going on with Vale. Vale, it is you.
I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark on the one closest to me.
Okay.
And then I'm going to shoot it with an arrow.
Sounds good to me. A roll to hit.
That one. 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
And then damage is...
So you knock the arrow, you duck under the javelins, and you kind of perch yourself up, just peering over the wood. Let the bow go, and the arrow whistles off towards the creature.
Yeah, so I've got four psychic damage, 8 piercing damage, 4 Hunter's Mark damage, which I think is piercing as well. So in total, that's 16 damage, 4 of which is psychic.
Nice. So as you pop up, you see this kind of almost mist, like grey, ashy smoke coalesce around the air. It leaves like a trail of this ash that lingers in the air before it disperses. And the arrow strikes and embeds itself on the side of this creature, and it yells out and turns and just lets out a pained yell as it looks over to you.
That's me.
Okay.
Actually, can I move 30 feet away in whatever direction I can from the other one? Sort of back up.
You could run up the stairs behind
Yeah, that's
Selena, I
fine.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Can you Audrey, can you make me an intelligence saving throw, please?
Yeah.
Aww.
An 8. Okay. You see the air next to you shimmer as the invisibility spell fades.
Fuck.
As a robed Duragar in black velveteen robes, clutching a ornate bronze scepter, an idol in his hand, showing a horned creature of some sort, kind of eyes glow this deep emberous fire, and it just stares through you, and you feel your control over your mind start to falter, and you will use your action. Can you please roll a, what's your basic attack? It's Eldritch, no, you've got it's an Eldritch Blast, isn't it?
I've never been asked this question before, I assume.
Do you have a melee weapon to hand?
We have a... Tony's just put in the chat, we have a reroll. I don't know if that's too late, but...
It's too late.
Okay.
It's already happened.
Because it's all been talked through and I forgot we had a reroll. Shite.
Yeah.
I have 5 daggers. Like...
Okay. What's your strength modifier and what's your dex modifier?
0 and 0.
Okay, that's fine. You kind of, for a minute, you felt things pry into your mind. Okay, apparently we can see the Zoom chat pop up, so AD needs to... Where has he gone? So yeah, so apparently the stream can see our chat on Zoom, so just be mindful of that. You're used to deities prying in. You felt powers beyond your explanation kind of pushing their way into your consciousness. This feels more aggressive, this feels forced, and this feels dominating rather than conversational. And before you even realise, your hands reached your belt and you've pulled out one of the knives and you whip it towards Elkis. You make an attack roll, please.
No.
It would just be a straight D20 plus your proficiency.
Go for it.
9.
Elkis, you're kind of looking at the door and you hear this like gasp of surprise. You spin over and you see this emerging robed, shadowy skinned figure, eyes just engulfed in these low embers, and you see Ardry kind of just slowly, like almost like half asleep, pull out a blade from her belt. It comes whizzing past and it clatters off the front of your shield as you bring it up just in time.
Nobody messes with Adri but me.
The creature, the robed Duergar, then pulls out a dagger of itself and jams it towards Ardry. Tracy?
Fantastic question.
So yeah, it's not 22, is it?
What? Why did you ask?
This ornate hilted dark bronze dagger pulls out, and you can see this kind of swirlish, purplish energy just for a second. As your kind of mind returns to you, you feel it jab in to your abdomen.
My return to me.
Yes.
Ooh.
You're not mind controlled. You are. You just it uses your reaction up to make an attack.
Okay.
You take 3 points of piercing damage.
Fuck. Oh, you rolled another dice, didn't you?
And
Oh, no, thank you.
9 points of psychic damage as a pulse of this dark energy. It feels very similar to the energy you used that you call upon to send out your bolts, but directed inwards, and it pulses to your abdomen. You feel it like wrap around your body, and yeah, you take that as psychic damage.
Yay.
Okay. It is gentle steps. Let me just bring up his character sheet. I would say at this point, gentle steps would probably move or tell Elkis to
Get round the other side.
get the others.
Flank me.
Let the others know, and he's going to move the best he can to the side and make 2 attacks with his bowie knife and axe against the creature.
I think that's a safe assumption.
Very safe.
So he makes an attack with his hand axe. Which he gets a 11, and he makes a swing with the bowie knife. So that's a 15 to hit on the main hand, and a that's better. A 15 and an 18. Both of which hit.
And the bitch goes down.
Let's do the damage. He won't get sneak attack on this, unfortunately.
Why not?
That's 6 points of damage on the first attack.
Is Adri not standing next to the guy?
He is, but you're not flanking. You can't get behind him. He's in the corner of the room. That's a total of 11 points of damage as Gentle Steps whips out the familiar weaponry and strikes forward at this creature, and both the sword and the knife bite in.
You get sneak attack. It doesn't have to be flanking, though, does it? Sorry if I'm getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Sneak attack is
your
just...
Your attack has to have advantage, or in Adie's case, he needs to be higher in initiative because he's an assassin.
Oh, I thought it was he just had to have someone within 5 feet.
It might be, but he's not here, so unfortunately, that's
Fair enough.
I'll check. I'll
Punishment.
just check.
It's just an ally within 5 feet of the enemy.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was about to say, yeah, because I.
Although
thought that too, but I
technically, Ardry isn't an enemy of the target until the start of her next turn because the reaction ability is in place, the mind control is in place.
Okay.
It has to be an ally, and at the moment, Ardry is not an ally. Okay, Celine, you're up. You see these 2 javelins winning past Vale as she lets loose an arrow, vaults over the fence, and scampers behind you. And you see these 3 creatures, one of them with an arrow sticking out of him, sort of angrily start making their way onto the boat.
How much space is downstairs between everybody? Not a
Not a
lot,
lot.
right? I want to. Can I scream out to the group to get outside, like as an action?
You may,
All right,
and you do. Guys downstairs, you hear
Is that a
Celine
bonus
shout.
action or just like?
That's just a couple of words. It's fine.
Just get outside, like everyone.
Get the hell
outside.
up here.
Yep, pretty much. Like, get your butts up here. I will light my sword.
The long sword of flames
Yes.
ignites and casts a wonderful warming glow across the ice.
Toasty. I'm gonna light that, and I'm going to roll to hit.
You're gonna run in and slap the first one.
Yep.
Cool. You just go
Because
charging in, long
they're still
sword.
standing
there.
next to each other, so.
Yeah, you run in
Yeah,
and
they
just
flank me out.
meet them halfway and just crash into the first one, sword swinging.
Question: Vale cannot flank me if there's 2 of them in the middle, right? It has to be one.
You have to get 180 degrees behind, and Vale is also using a bow and arrow.
Yeah, I'm not going to be within 5 feet of them.
That's right. Yeah, I'll go to them and.
Flanking is
move.
basically someone's behind you and in front of you, both trying to attack you at the same time. You can't
Yeah.
defend both directions.
Alright,
So,
that
long
is
sword.
19 to hit.
19 will hit.
Yep. Which of these 2 am I using on my thing, Rob? The top one, 1d8 or 1d10 plus 3?
Like, we don't have a shield just yet, do you? So you're using
No,
it two-handed, so
yeah.
it's the bigger of the
1d8.
2.
Sorry, the
1d10.
Then, yep.
Yeah. If you're using it two-handed, you get the 1d10.
Okay. 10, and I'm gonna actually use one of my precision.
You need to add
attacks I
the
can
one. You need to add the 1d4 fire damage as well.
Yep. So I'll add a d4. Give me a second. Is this a d4? No.
Pyramid.
Got it.
Up.
Yeah. 2.
Okay.
Oh.
And as you whip
fire
out,
damage
you
plus, not just on top of that, I want to actually use one of my precision attack.
superiority
Starting
dice.
dice. Just another.
Okay.
That's a d4 as well.
That's a
right?
1d8.
That's a d8. Okay. So that's a 2 plus another. Where's my d8? I'm just gonna roll it on here. Oh really? Wow.
It's enough.
Tragic.
You go
It's still
running down the
something.
stairs, and as this creature's it takes a moment just to look down and kind of start trying to pull this arrow out of its chest. And as you break cover, you kind of bound down the stairs in 2 steps. Sword ignites as you unsheath it, and you just swing across, and you just nail it across, and just a spray of crimson. It goes clattering off the boat, falls down to the ice below, the 5-10 foot off the edge, and just clatters, and you see his dark blood just starts pooling across the ice.
Oh,
He dead?
You're dead.
Dead. Okay.
he at least ain't getting back up.
Turn gaze to next one and just carry on.
Like,
Audrey, your mind, the clouding of your mind begins to fade. Your will is your own. You do not have a reaction this turn, but you do have your full movement, action, and bonus.
Okay. So, what I am going to do is that I am going. I'm gonna say that my best option is probably gonna be to stab him. No, because I don't have anything to stab apart from a dagger, and that's gonna do sweet FA.
Do 1d4 plus your dex modifier.
Which is 0, we've
Which
already
is
learned.
Because I don't want to risk casting Eldritch Blast in such a small enclosed space.
You would roll at disadvantage because it's a ranged attack.
Exactly.
You can using it in confined space isn't a problem. It doesn't do area damage, but you'd be at disadvantage.
To
Sure, point blanking it.
whip out my mace,
The mace is whipped out.
and I'm gonna try and bonk him on the head.
You go for a good old bonk.
Sweet.
Roll a attack with it. Roll
I
to hit.
do not bonk him on the head on a 7.
That's a 7. Unfortunately, the weight feels unfamiliar, and it's a little bit. You're not well trained.
My first thing that every time I
You kind of clumsily swing it, and the creature just kind of leans to the side, and the mace just takes a chunk out of the wound, bites in, splinters cast off, and the creature kind of looks up at you, and just kind of this look of rage and just anger in these eyes.
I am going to shout to Elkis and Gentle Steps, get out the fucking room.
We haven't used our reroll yet, right?
Yep.
Not yet. But if this goes real fucking south, I'm gonna.
Okay. Anything else from you, Audrey?
I'm gonna move away from the dickhead. No, I'm not.
Okay,
Nah. Yeah.
He will make an attack opportunity
I am
if you do.
not going to move because I remembered that stupid thing. So I'm
Okay.
gonna stay where I am.
Stay where you are.
So I can't afford to take any more.
Elkis! You hear Celine shouting, "Get up here!" And you turn and see Audrey clumsily smash a windowsill in with a mace.
I'm gonna shout 2 minutes. I'm gonna.
Hear this? Just
Be up in a sec, Mom!
What?
You also heard Audrey say, "Get the fuck out the room."
Yeah, but I don't care what you say.
You know what? I don't care if you go deaf.
I'm gonna step up to the wizard.
You would have to kind of, the three of you just kind of rugby rock him into the corner at this point.
Yeah, that's fine. That's 5 feet, right?
It is.
That's fine.
And we have no idea what's happening down there, right?
You
We're
have
just kinda
no
all
idea what's going
like,
on below.
What do you
Yeah.
mean 2 minutes? Like,
You hear 2 minutes after a couple of crashes and the clear sound of things happening.
I am going to bonus action Hunter's Mark,
Okay,
and then I'm going to smack this guy upside the head.
go for it. Roll to hit.
Yep. I'm going to reroll.
He's used the reroll. It's gone.
Got exactly the same.
What is it?
14.
14 is just enough.
I wasted the reroll.
The Hammer of Elkis. I did say you used your shield to deflect the throwing knife. Would you have had your shield out at this point? I would have.
I've got my shield out, yeah.
Basically, for yours and Celine's benefit, if Celine gets a shield, unless you guys specify, I'm swinging it two-handed.
Yeah, it's fine.
I will default the fact you've got your shield for the AC calculation. If you say, I'm going to swing this two-handed, or if you want a different, if you want me to default that you always use it two-handed, that works.
Yeah, well, I told you before the fight I got out my hammer and shield.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's the D8.
The hammer lands. Elkis kind of pushes past. Audrey kind of looks at you with a look of, like, the hell you doing with a mace? Like, move out.
Yep.
Wham! The hammer comes swinging over the head.
That's
Over his head.
7 plus 5 is 12, plus Divine Smite is not undead, I'm guessing.
He is not.
So that's 12. Yep. That is 7, 12. That is 14 plus Furious Small is 17.
Jesus.
One
Okay,
more. Oh, did I? I'm just counting my dice up, sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, I did do Hunter's Mark, but I only did one roll on Divine Smite. How much is it?
Paladin Joe.
You say 17.
17.
Yep.
17 plus 6, 23.
Mm.
Jesus.
Please tell
The
me you
hammer, your hammer just ignites with the shimmering night skies, these little sparkles of starlight, and you whip across. You hit him to the point where he takes a couple of steps back. The idol he's holding clatters to the ground. He's kind of clutching like the side of his chest, down his ribs with the hammer's bit in, and you can see like him breathing heavily and laboured, and kind of blood starts trickling, coughs up, and blood starts trickling down onto the grey beard around his face. He is not looking well at all. He's limping up against the door frame.
I'm going to say to Gentle Steps and Adri, just kill that bitch, and I'm going to run outside.
Okay.
Full movement. Juriga.
Okay. As you run, he thrusts the dagger out towards your back.
Fine.
What's your AC?
20.
Yep, that misses. you feel this glink of metal against metal as you try and run back, but it does not.
Yeah, rest of my movements are getting to the fray outside.
Okay. The Duragar on the gangplank starts making its way towards you, Celine. As an action, as he runs in, the Duragar begins to grow in size, almost to past Gentle Steps height, and runs 5, 10,
Love how the grunts were perfectly timed.
15, 20, 25, 25. He's going to run and basically stand directly in front of you and start running to engage you, pulling a war pick from his belt, and comes walking towards you as the body grows in size until it's towering above you. And just looks
Damn.
down, is like, yeah.
Now just look up at him and just hold my sword, lift an eyebrow. And prepare myself.
Okay.
Will you move my token out to... I think I can make it to the other Juriga. I think.
25. You can just, you can just.
Cool. Thank you.
It is that Duragar's turn. As he turns around, he sees this goblin come running up the stairs and just says, "You're never going to leave here alive. The map are our secrets to hold." And a war pick comes hurtling towards your head. In fact, you don't speak Dwarvish. You will not understand. He says something that Celine recognizes as that. You just hear like garbled
Can I
nonsense.
hear it as well from where I am?
You're a little bit far, to be honest.
Okay.
Ooh, Raiden, thank you.
Oh, that's better. You're AC 20, aren't you?
AC 20, yeah.
Yeah, 16 plus 4. If it meets it, it beats it, I'm afraid.
Oh.
This one is not
It's okay.
enlarged, but he does find a little bit as you kind of run to engage. He spins around a bit quicker than you expect. As he spins around, it's like a spinning back fist with this war pick that just catches you at the side of the, like in the center of the breastplate, knocks the wind out of you. That is like 6 points of piercing damage as this war pick bites into the front of your armor and knocks the wind out of you.
You hit me in my boob. Prepare to die, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah.
What a reference. Vale.
I'm gonna shout so that Celine and Elkis can hear on the deck, and I'm gonna say again, one alive, and then I'm gonna loose an arrow at the big one.
One alive as she shoots one in the face.
Well, I'm really sure I'm not gonna one-shot it. So.
Never know.
15 to hit.
Have a new reroll. Thank you.
15 was that?
God, you
Yeah.
reroll.
We have got another reroll. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
15. Which one are you hitting? Sorry, 15 does miss. As you fire the enlarged and kind of empowered form of the Duragar, he pulls his buckler across, and the arrow sees sparks as the arrow tip glances off and disappears over the side of the ship.
Cool.
Anything else you'd like to do?
Move. Oh, sorry. Before that, I would have moved my hunter's mark to that one. Not that that would have made a difference to the roll, but yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Meanwhile, below deck, the very, very severely injured Duragar kind of looks over at Gentle Steps, looks over towards Ardry, glances over at the papers on the desk, and he's going to. He looks over at you for a second, Ardry, and then glances his attention over to Gentle Steps. I need Ardry to make an intelligence saving throw on Gentle Steps' behalf.
It's a reroll.
We have a reroll. Yeah.
And I don't know what his modifier is, but I could find out.
Can you tell me what it is before I decide whether I'm re-rolling
Yeah,
or
if you
not?
give me 2 seconds, I can.
Does that roll it with your modifier, Audrey, if you do it on roll 20?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the reason why I'm looking at the.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll bring his character sheet up. +1.
I'm gonna take that re-roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Ruffworx.
And got worse.
What's your total? What's your best? Oh, the reroll. You have to take the reroll. So that's a 9. You
No,
see.
that was an 8.
Okay, the creature looks over at you, Ardry, and looks over at Gentle Steps, and you see Gentle Steps' eyes kind of roll back into his head, and he whips the great axe and swings it across towards you.
I'm down. I can feel it.
Although Gentle Steps is not proficient with the great axe, so he doesn't get his initiative bonus on it, does he? He just gets a +2.
I think
What's your
it's
AC?
proficiency now.
It's a dirty 20. It's a dirty 20. Crit you with a great axe. That would have
I'm
been
dead.
savage. Okay, he lands, and you kind of recognize what's happening, but you don't believe it's gonna happen. But sure enough, this great axe comes whizzing out, and as you step, it glances you across the side, and it catches you across the side of your cheek, and you can feel it bite into the side of your cheek, and it knocks you back, spins your head. You feel the blood start pouring down the side of your face. Jesus, that's a big dice to roll on a weapon. Hi, D12. We don't get to roll you very often. Oh, okay. 9 points of 9 points of slashing damage as the great axe kind of glances off the kais and opens up the side of your cheek. You feel the claret start heating up, and you feel that warm, like going down.
How do you want to do this?
You unconscious.
Yeah.
So you kind of you put your hand to your face, and then kind of you just collapse onto the side, and you see Gentle Steps' eyes start to roll back, and he kind of regains control of his senses.
And I have no idea because you told me to go.
And you're not in the room, Elkus.
I told both of them to go.
The creature then looks around, kind of sees you on the floor, sees Gentle Steps, confused, and begins shrinking in size, and shrinks down to maybe a foot tall, and you see his form just go smaller, smaller, and he's going to attempt to run past Gentle Steps and up to the side of the ship. So Gentle Steps will get an attack of opportunity.
Gotta roll a
That's
goddamn
a
natural
reaction.
20 because I swear to God.
Reaction,
Oh, it is. He doesn't
Yeah.
get a reaction because he uses reaction to hit you. He does not.
Yeah.
So the creature will shrink down. He will grab the map from the table
F check.
and is going to.
Eat it.
He's going to. Yeah, just make his full movement. 5, 10, 15, 20. And gets up to here. Kind of runs up. Vale and Celine, you see this very small Durgoth figure emerge, kind of bleeding heavily from the mouth, and just kind of, you can see Clara across the face as he kind of limps up the stairs and starts looking around.
Did I hear him come out? I've got a passive perception of 10.
Let's find out. I rolled a 10. You hear footsteps. You're currently locked in battle with this Duragar, but you hear some commotion behind you. You're not quite sure what it is, though. Okay, it is Gentle Steps. What would Gentle Steps do? he would probably... He knows he can't do anything for Ardry, so he's probably going to run up after the creature and try and kill it, I'd have thought.
Sounds about right.
Gentle Steps is going to run up behind the group, and he's going to make... he's going to swing his dagger and his hand axe and his bowie knife at the creature. The creature is harder to hit being a smaller target, but we'll see how he does. So that's damage. Didn't mean to roll that.
Come on, and Gentle Steps, pin it to deck. Stab.
Okay, so he swings out with a hand axe. That might be a hit. Check in a second. Okay, so that's some big numbers to hit. That isn't. Oh, it was on a 19 that rolled onto a 5. Yeah, so his second swing does miss. However, his first hit, his AC goes up to that. That'll hit. So the hand axe does hit. As Gentle Steps runs up the stairs and whips the axe down. That is 6 points of damage that go into the back of this creature as it's running away. There is just a stream of claret pouring from this creature. Like it limping, it's barely holding itself, it's staggering around, it is looking on death's door. It looks incredibly unwell. Celine, you have a large boy in front of you, a smaller guy behind him fighting with Elkis, and you see this very, very heavily wounded, sort of castery type Duragar run up the stairs as Gentle Steps comes running up and bites his hand axe into the side. What would you like to do?
This thing, because it shrunk itself, like on its next turn, can it turn back to regular size, or?
You do not know.
Okay. I was wondering.
You have not seen a Duragar do this before. You are not sure what it might be, and you're not a spellcaster.
Yeah. So yeah, with that said, she wouldn't know. She's just gonna see this little thing running because she has that perception. I will crossbow. Thing's small, so I'm guessing maybe.
You have got a
dagger,
8-foot Duragar in front of you, whipping out a war pick that has grown also in size,
Yes.
directly in front of you.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I wouldn't know if this little thing is gonna like magically poop out in the air, so I will attack the guy in front of me, the big guy.
Okay, roll to hit with the sword.
Yep. 16.
16 will... 16 hits.
Hits, yeah. And 1d10.
Just.
1d10 plus 3, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
7. with
7
the-
points of slashing damage,
with
and then the
extra-
flames lick around and do 1d4 fire damage.
That's a 4.
So
And
11
I
total.
will use another precision attack.
Okay, roll the d8.
Yeah, 1 second. 2.
So 7, 4, 11, 2, 13 points of damage. As once again the longsword swings up, catches the creature, and you can see a mixture of blood pouring down from the face and scorch marks that have kind of pushed back the beard and the hair across one of the eyes. Just kind of just the ashen skin has got these black scorch marks. You see the skin start to blister.
All right, I'm done with that. I have nothing else I can do. Actually, I can't see what's happening downstairs. So I'm kind of stuck. Okay.
Okay.
So I can't use my bonus action. Okay. Never mind.
Audrey, can you roll a death saving throw for me, please?
Would you like to know the result?
Yeah, in this campaign, we'll just keep it as open. We'll use the Candlekeep stuff for Candlekeep.
That's a 10.
That is... Ooh, that's a fail, I think. Is it? Is it a 10 or higher as a pass? Let me just check. Ooh.
1 to 10 is a fail, 11 to 20 is a pass. Because you can't roll a 0.
Yeah, but is it 10 or higher? It's a bit of a weird one, I'm sure. 10 or higher, you succeed.
Oh, okay.
So mark down a successful death saving throw. Elkis.
Yep. I've heard the footstep come behind me. I've heard gentle steps come out and smack something. I've got Hunter's Mark, so another thing's still alive. I'm going to look over my shoulder, assuming I see the little thing.
Yeah, you're almost a little bit taller than it.
Yep. I'm going to sidestep to the left and come round and splat it with my hammer.
Yep, you sidestep, duck, swing, and it's odd for you fighting something at head height, but yeah, it's kind of looking it dead in the eye. You swing with advantage for flanking bonus.
Oh, yeah. Both same, again.
Dirty 20 just hits in its reduced form.
Jesus.
As a creature's running, it looks like for an escape route, and you step in the way and block off the route. Hammer swings.
Yep. One-handed. That is 6, and Hunter's Mark is 10. Yeah, I'm going to stop there, I think. 10 damage.
As the creature starts heading towards the edge of the boat to jump, you swing the hammer out, catch it under the jaw, and you just hear a dull crack as the head kind of leaves at an odd angle, and the body just lifelessly crumples, hits the deck, and the papers and the map rolls out across the floor.
I'm going to say to John, step where's Adric, and I'm going to move Hunter's Mark to the...
It's gravy time.
One nearest me.
Okay.
And that's me, I guess.
Okay, the one nearest you is going... the large one now facing Celine. He's looking around, he's like... You'll die for this. He's going to swing his enlarged hammer at you. Tracy?
15.
It hits. Oh dear. Enlarged war picks are not fun. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Yikes. Okay, that is 16 points of piercing damage.
I'm at
As
a
these
0.
you fall unconscious. This Duragar swings the pick from above. It bites down. It goes, slips under the plate, bites deep into your collarbone, and you feel it sink into your chest. And just this kind of gasp as you struggle to catch breath as your vision fades to black and you hit the floor.
Oh, right then.
Oh.
Okay, that one's dead. And that one's near you, Elkis. This one looks towards you, Elkis, and is going to 5, 10, 15, grab the map off the floor and try and run directly away from you towards the edge of the boat.
Okie dokie, I'm going to swing, obviously.
Yep.
I miss. 8.
What'd you roll?
8.
Fortunately, you miss. He gets to there. He then... Oh, he's already used that. He doesn't get that back until dawn. He's going to take a full dash action. He's going to jump off the side of the boat onto the ice about 5-10 feet below, and he's going to make a full run movement, heading across the lake. Vale, you see Celine hit the floor as this towering enlarged Duragar, just rage-filled, towers above, and pulling up the hammer, again, 2 hands, about to bring it back down onto her. You see the other one run past Elkis, who swings wide, grabs some papers, and dive over the side of the boat, start running across the ice.
Do I chase or do I hit the one that's there?
Just make a decision. What are you doing?
I am going to shoot the big one that's hanging over Celine and then
Make
shout
it.
to Elkis, chase him.
Roll to hit.
19.
That hits.
So I have the damage, which is 7, the psychic, which is... No, that's the psychic. Psychic is 4, so 11, and the hunter's mark, which is 6, 17 in total, 4 of which is psychic.
So you see this creature knock Celine to the ground, and this war pick pulls out of the body, and you see the trail of gore. It whips up in the air again. As you have to bring it down, the next arrow lets loose, and it catches it under the chin, and you see it stick out the top of the head. And then the pulse of psychic energy as the creature kind of just silently lets out a wordless yell and tips over the edge of the boat and falls down unmoving.
He's dead?
He's dead.
Cool, I'm gonna use my movement 30 foot to go after the one that ran off.
Get to out there.
I can't see the roll 20, it's still being shit. So, oh no, it's not. It's
You're off.
Yeah.
You're off the boat and you're on your way.
Yeah, I can see it. Cool.
It's gentle steps as turn, and I would say, I think gentle steps would be more worried about getting you to go help people rather than chase after people. He'll tell Elkis to see, can he help Ardry below. And he runs over to Celine and tries to make a medicine check to stabilize. So it's a wisdom check for Mr. Gentle Steps. Ardry, Celine, can you make a wisdom check on Gentle Steps' behalf, please? Just roll a d20 for me.
15.
15.
Plus whatever he has. Yeah, modifier.
So he puts pressure on the wounds and presses down onto your collar as you feel this horrible surge of pain flood your body, but your eyes open up when you get in a gasp of cold air and you see Gentle Steps kind of pushing down onto your collar. As you feel your kind of consciousness snap back to. Okay. So you're at 0 still. You're not bleeding out,
0,
but you're not. Yeah, you're still. Sorry, you're still unconscious. Sorry, so you kind of gasp and then you kind of drift back out, black out from the pain as he pushes the wound and kind of pads it with part of the fabric around and holds the pressure down. But you're not bleeding out, but you're still unconscious. Ardry, can you make a death saving throw for me, please?
That's a fail.
Okay, 1 fail, 1 pass. Elkis.
I'm going to shout, they're leaving, we've got injured. I'm going to run back inside as close to Ardry as I can get.
5, 10, 15, 20. You can get next to Ardry.
I can't ask consent, but yeah, 15 hit points.
Fuck consent, I'm dying.
You regain 15 hit points, Ardry, as you feel the wounds knit back together, and you still have the blood kind of trickling down your face from where Gentle Steps whip the axe towards you, and your eyes flicker open, you gasp, and you see Elkis kind of hand like glowing with this silverish light as you feel the warmth flood through your body.
I'm gonna go, thank you.
The Duragar running across the ice makes a full 60 foot of movement and just bolts across the ice at full sprint. What are you doing, Val?
30 foot after him and then shooting him with Hunter's Mark, move to him.
That's it.
16.
Hits.
So damage. 13, 3 is psychic.
Okay. So as it's running, you let an arrow go. It kind of catches between its shoulder blades, and you kind of see it stumble, picks itself up on the ice, and continues heading out. Gentle Steps is on the boat. He's going to continue sitting with Celine, looking over. Everything's out of range. He just shouts up, "Elkis, is she all right?"
Yep. Well, not myself.
Celine, you're still unconscious. Ardry, you're now conscious in Elkis's arms inside the boat. Are you doing anything?
Can I make it to death?
That's dead.
Can I make it to death?
Yeah, you could get to the boat. Yeah.
Fantastic. I want to get to death.
Sorry, it takes half your movement to stand up, so you wouldn't be able to. You can make your way over there, but yeah, you pick
Well, he's not
yourself
going
up.
anywhere, so yeah, sure, I'll make my way over.
Okay, cool. Okay, in fact, you could double action. You could double action to get there. You won't be able to do anything else this turn, but you'll be able to get all the way there if you use the dash action.
Yeah, fuck it, let's do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna start making my way back to Celine.
Okay, 13, 15, 20, 30. You can probably get to about there. Okay, the creature, seeing Vale running after, is going to turn round, hurl a javelin, and then move 30 feet away. What's your AC?
16.
That hits.
Cool.
That's a 19. You take 6 points of piercing damage
Yeah.
as this javelin bites into you and glances off and catches you across the hip bone.
Mhm.
Over to you. What are you doing?
Another 30 feet and an arrow.
Yep, roll to hit.
Ooh, 24. 5 plus 4, 9. Hunter's mark, 4. Psychic, 1. 10 in total, 1 psychic.
14.
Huh?
That was 14, wasn't
Oh
it?
no, 14. Sorry, yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking at just my dice and plus the 4. Yeah, 14.
How do you want to finish it?
Oh.
Arrow right between, like, the back of his neck, so it comes out the front of his throat.
So he throws his javelin, it glances off your head, but as you're running, you're almost like horizontal, like low stance. As you're still running forward, you like whip out the bow, fast release the arrow, and it kind of arcs like as it dips, it just catches it just at the base of the skull. And as the creature's running, it just drops, hits the floor, and skids another further 10 feet across the ice, and slowly
Kitty man.
comes to a stop.
I would like to go and pick up the map. Actually, I'm going to drag the whole fucking thing back.
Okay. We are going to say we're going to wrap up there. We'll pick up on the aftermath of the ferry when we come back. Thank you very much for players. Thank you very much for everyone who is coming along for this journey. Thank you very much for your patience. Run over a little bit there. Close fight, guys. Very close. That got a little bit ropey in places, didn't it? But thank you very much. We have got plenty of other stuff going on Heavyweight Gaming. So if you haven't already, please follow, like, share, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch /Heavyweight Gaming. Check out their homebrew content. The details will be below. Some fantastic homebrew stuff. Over 200 sold. Add some of their homebrew world Colossus into your home games. Check out the rest of their schedule. They've got games going, I think, 4 or 5 times during the week. Again, check the schedules below. If you're interested in seeing more of myself DMing, we are launching our new Candlekeep Mysteries campaign at twitch.tv/The Short Rest Tavern. Premieres a week on Monday, and we're going to be giving away some copies of Candlekeep Mysteries as well. So if you want to be in on that, give it a follow and stay updated on that channel as well. We work closely together. A lot of players play across the two games. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching. Players, I hope you're not too stressed and anxious about if you were going to die.
Nah.
We'll dust yourselves off and we will pick up next time we pick up. I believe we're back a week on Friday. So we hopefully back next Friday. But if that is to change, we'll notify you on social media. So cheers, guys. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later. Maybe, hopefully, next week.